Send me an angel. Send me an angel. Right now. No, have I ever done that one before? That song has nothing to do with the movie that we're talking about tonight. Nothing. So, hello and welcome back to the Yesteryear podcast. My name is James. I'm joined by my co-host Beth. So Beth, it's been a minute since we've been able to get together and record. You've had many things going on over the summer, and I've been trying to get scheduled stuff straight, so it's just crazy how fast weeks can go by again and again when you try to get something done. like it's just like, oh, we'll get it this week. Oh, next week. Oh, next week. Oh, a month can go by. It's madness. For all those that are returning listeners, thank you for your continued patronage. For those that are listening for the first time, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. So, Beth, as our per usual, our conversation, how are you doing today? What's going on in the world of Beth? Anything good?
I'm drained.
Yeah. I bet, man. I bet with all the new school stuff, work. I mean, you're literally still working pretty much the same schedule that you were before. And then you got school on top of that, and it's a lot, man. I do not. That's madness. So lots going on for sure. I'm myself trying to finish up my next to last semester for my master's degree, as well as keep 2 jobs in the household running for the time. So time is definitely valuable, and I appreciate you coming on and doing this with me. I am looking forward to going to the Glass Animals concert coming up this month. I'm not sure what day it is. I think it's like in the middle of the month, like the 18th or something like that.
It's a Monday. It's the 22nd.
Yeah. So I gotta make sure I got that off. So that's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I will say I do not envy you the amount of work you have going on with your freshman classes, though, especially all the online ones. To me, online always seems like it has more work than the classes that are like in-session classes. I don't know if that's just like because you have to do more yourself, like without direction. But it just seems like they put a whole bunch more on there than like regular in-class classes. So I don't know. Meh. Oh well. So this week we're going to be discussing Mr. Mom. This, of course, is one of my favorite movies that I grew up with. I still say, want some chili? All the time because it makes me laugh. Pretty much the entire movie makes me laugh. And now being an adult and a parent, seeing how it applies to life makes it even more funny. Like other parts are now more humorous because it's kind of like relatable in a way. I definitely did not go to theater watch this at all because I was like 5 years old when it came out. However, of course, did watch it on HBO and regular TV all the time. And it was one of the rentals that used to come home on the weekend often from the video store. So, I don't know. It's just one of the ones I really like, which I guess is weird because why does a 5/6-year-old really dig this movie? But I did. So, when you looked at it, initial impression, what did you think about it being called Mr. Mom, being an 80s movie? What were you thinking was going to go on with it?
I didn't want to watch it. I'm not a big movies person. I don't really like movies. Get off me. Why are you climbing me? I'm not a tree. I don't like movies. I'm not a big... unless I like scary movies. I like horror movies. I like some superhero movies. But I'm not a big movie person because a lot of the time they fall under categories like this where it's humor at the expense of another person or a group. And I don't enjoy it. This, I mean, especially with it being the 80s and how humor was then, you have where stereotypes. You have where the mom has to get a job, so she goes and she gets a job, and the whole humor around that is, oh, nobody wants to listen to her because she's a woman.
Right.
And then you have the dad who has to stay home with the kids, and it's like you're setting up men to look like they don't know anything about life at home. You grew up somewhere. You had at some point take out the trash and do dishes and do your laundry and all that. So what, when you hit 40s, you get a wife and you just get a job and you don't know how to do anything else? You just forget?
Right.
It's not funny to me. I don't enjoy it.
Okay.
It's not my kind of humor. There were some parts in this movie that did make me laugh, I think. Or that I found where it's like, oh yeah, that's a funny joke. But the main structural of this movie being, and then at the end, the fact that he gets his job back and the mom quits again and she wants to be, oh, you know, I like my kids and I want to be at home and clean the house. No. I don't want that. Some people like to clean. You know, when I get angry, I clean.
Ugh.
But I don't sit and imagine for myself 30 years from now, or as a kid, I imagine myself 30 years from now, well, I want to be a good wife. I want to make sure that my man is happy and my kids are fed and that the house is clean because I worked for that house. Oh, wait, no, I didn't work for that house. My husband worked for this house. No. That's garbage. I got when I graduated high school, they gave me a folder with, I think 6th grade, where we had written what we want to do when we're older, and I literally wrote on the line, be a good wife.
Yeah, you said about that.
What is that?
I don't know, man.
Movies like this, they just piss me off. I just don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It's not funny. There's no structure to this movie. You have where you took a concept and just did it again. There's sitcoms based around this, you know? There's hundreds of different types of things where it's like, okay, let's take where a man is now going to have to stay home with his kids and his babies, and he's going to have no idea what to do. Ha 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 ha. Man not knowing how to do the woman's job. He doesn't know how to work a toaster. Oh, he doesn't know how to make eggs or toast or what is a blend of smoothie? Something with the... At one point they're fighting it with the swords or something. I don't know. Why? You don't know how to do basic functions?
No, it's a good point. It's good. I'm actually gonna kind of go through that. It's all, again, seeing points of views and stuff like that. It's seeing how movies age and then see how they're applied and stuff like that. So,
like, there's some movies where it's like the older movies that would not do as well now. You know, with like a lot of topics being changed, some words being not like brought to light where it's like, okay, this is not as cool to use anymore, like certain words and everything. And we watch a lot of movies where they use that kind of language. But there are some movies that like White Chicks. Like, we can't do that movie for some, you know, obvious reasons. But as a kid, I enjoyed watching that movie. That movie's funny. I have where people my age will talk about that movie and be like, yeah, that movie wouldn't do well now, but that's a funny movie, you know? And it's like, yeah, but that's funny for different reasons. It's funny because the acting was good. It was good script. It was good writing, you know? It's just, it's like, how can you sit in front of a screen and laugh at, because it's gonna be men mostly laughing at the fact, oh, haha, you know what it is, and think for yourself, yeah, I don't know how to work the laundry machine.
Yeah.
I got no idea how that works. Bro, I don't know how to work the laundry machine. You know? I call it the washing machine most of the time.
Yeah.
And am I talking about the dishwasher or the laundry machine? You know, they're both the same thing in my mind. Well, I don't know how to load that upstairs. I don't know how to load the dishwasher. Don't know how it works. I got no clue. In my eyes, I would just, if I had my own place, we're hand washing everything. Because most places, like when fresh out, you're not gonna have a dishwasher, anyways. You're gonna have a sink. Shut up, damn cat. But I don't know, man. There are certain movies. Doing this and discussing all the movies that we've done. You know, there's certain movies that I definitely like, yeah, you know, I probably would not have reached this off the shelf, but I'm glad we watched it. Movies that are terrible movies, like just bad movies, but that in my mind now, thinking back, I'd be like, yeah, I'd watch that again. But I hated that movie, you know? Or like the idea of this movie's terrible, but that one part, I'd watch for that one part type thing.
Yeah.
But some of the movies we do, it's just not, they're not good. They're not interesting. And I hate having that outlook on it because I know it's like, well, we have where this can either be an hour and a half or 2 hour podcast, or it's going to be 35 minutes, you know? And
Well, do you think that you go into them when you see that this is going to be what it is, you're automatically like, I'm not going to like this because
well,
of what it is?
I looked at remember you showed me what we were going to do, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
Because I saw what kind of movie it was going to be. You know, you have the woman in a pantsuit, because a woman can't have any other jobs but a pantsuit kind of job.
So we're going to talk about
But
this.
looks like a lawyer, you know, anything. Yeah. Or some kind of 16 going on 30, where she fashion design.
13 going on
13 on, oh, sorry. 13 going on 30.
Yeah.
Where she's in fashion design and she designed clothes or whatever, you know. Why couldn't she have been anything else? You
right.
know, she had to have been that.
Yeah.
You know, or in the proposal.
Oh, you're going to talk. Hold on a second, because that's in my notes.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying.
We're going to talk about this.
It's the movies, like, and I enjoy The Proposal, because I like Ryan Reynolds, and
right.
it was good acting, and it's funny. That movie's funny. It's just like, you set women to look one way in a movie, and as a female watching that,
yeah,
it's not entertaining.
Dude, you're okay, so let me get into this.
Okay.
Because you're literally kind of like stealing some of my thunder. It's really funny that you actually brought up one of them, and you're talking about exactly what I hoped you would talk about. So, Mr. Mom is in 1983. Now, think about that too. And it's hard for me and a lot of people to grasp how long ago 1983 was. I mean, literally almost 40 years.
Boss got an Apple Watch today that came in. He had one of my coworkers pick it up from his house on his way on.
Nice.
You're trying to get into my lap right now, bro. Go on. And ow, God, no. This is just getting worse.
Stupid cat.
He was literally trying to climb up.
I saw your tree.
Ow. But got him an Apple Watch, and he was setting it up, and it asked him I was setting it up. I had his phone, and I was setting it up next to him because he was trying to figure out the bracelet part.
Yeah.
And it was like, birthday, insert your birthday, and he was like, oh, 89. And I had to like scroll, bro.
Yes.
I was scrolling.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God.
Long time ago. Yep.
This man's only like 30 something, you know.
So, yeah, it came out in 1983. It's a romantic comedy that stars Michael Keaton and Terry Garr as a couple that have their typical family roles reversed in regard to main breadwinner. Now, it's funny, when I think Michael Keaton, I always think this and Batman and everything like this, but when you think Michael Keaton, what do you think of?
An actor.
What movie?
I literally couldn't tell you. It sounds very familiar, but I don't.
Vulture.
You know, I don't remember names like that.
The Vulture from Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was so... Did you see the costume design on that one? That was
him.
really cool. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
He does a much better job in that movie than in this movie.
Maybe we'll watch White Noise. That'll scare the pants off you. He's in that too. That movie is scary as heck. You'll like it. I know I say that and you're like, all right. No, it's scary.
I don't ever trust you.
White Noise is about where his wife dies and a guy comes to him and says that she's been communicating with him through the white noise, through the spirit box type stuff, and through TV and everything like that coming through. So he gets all into it and everything like that. But then he goes too far and he gets warned that he's going too far with it. And then like bad spirits come forward. It's creepy.
I love stuff like that.
It's pretty creepy.
I would,
They actually have actual EVPs and stuff.
That is what I remember. So there were, you know how like sometimes we would talk about birthdays and doing stuff for specific birthdays. So like going to, we were like one of them, I think like my 15th or 16th, we were like, yeah, we'll take you to one of the baseball games. That was one of them at some point. Didn't happen. And then, but there was one of them, I want to say it was like my 18th or 19th, but where you were like, we'll go to, we'll do what we did for Mom for Mother's Day, but at a different place because I'll be old enough.
Yeah.
And whatever. And I still want to do that.
Like, you should.
So bad. I love that. And we have all the stuff for it.
Yeah. You know what? You know what broke all that down? To be honest with you, you know what really killed off all those plans? COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. It's to where we could have gone and doing all that stuff because of COVID and everything got shut down for that year. Literally, it killed any of those plans like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm down for that stuff too.
Because we have we're going to the concert, the Glass Animal concert.
Yeah.
Which I'm nervous because I don't know. Did you look at the picture I sent you? Because I saw it on Twitter where they were buying merch. Yeah. we got to get there early, bro. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want that hoodie. But 60, I'm 100 bones. I'm spending.
Yeah.
I'm buying merch.
I
want that hat. But we were going to do that for my the 18th or 17th birthday, and that's why we're doing it now, is what I mean.
You know how you watch those stupid ghost shows and they're like, give us a sign you're here. If you're here, bro, make a knock. If you do something, then it's all, people, oh, what was that? I gotta get out of here. Like, that's kind of how I am.
Have you watched,
like I go in there with the intention, hold on a second, of like wanting to hear something.
Yeah.
And then we literally do, and I'm all,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here.
There's a lot. I enjoy watching shows like that, like Ghost Adventures, versus lower budget, like random clips where they do like Gen Z Ghost, where they have like actual what ghosts are actually saying. So it was like there was this one where it was like why are you here? And the ghost was like, to do your mom. And
so stupid. So stupid.
Funny. I laughed so hard at that. It's like, this could be an actual ghost. Because we watched that one show with the vampires, the ghost chick who like died on the stairs, and the werewolf dude.
Yeah.
Where they're real people.
Being
human. Yeah. And there's like the one ghost. And I was like, yeah, if I was a ghost and these guys came into my house and was like, are you here? Are you here? And I'd be like, ooh, boo, spooky. Like, that's what I would be doing, you know? I wouldn't be all like, Mavis, you know, like they do. Like, what? Say anything else.
I really do like the spirit boxes, in my opinion. Because I think you can get some, I've seen where there's what seems like intelligent response stuff. It also scares the hell out of me.
Scares the hell out of me. I feel like I brought it with me home.
Because that's exactly it. It's the Disney Haunted Mansion ride where at the end the ghost got their little thumb out and like, make sure you don't take home anybody with you. And then you go past the mirror and there's one sitting in the car with you. And I'm like, no.
Because it makes me think of Insidious.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm not smart. I don't know all the tricks and tips of how to make sure nothing comes, like make sure you cleanse your aura, make sure you don't invite anybody home, make sure I don't know all that stuff. I'm stuck.
I like witchy stuff, like how like people will buy books and go and like we've talked about. Like I have crystals.
Yeah.
I enjoy candles and the burning and the rituals and everything, but I don't know what each like basil does, you know? Like lavender's good for protection.
Right.
Put lavender inside your gums and then go to sleep and you'll wake up with beautiful hair. It's like,
who knew this?
Yeah. And it's like I believe more in like manifested and affirmations where you're like, this is how it's going to be, this is what it is, this is how it is.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes I scare myself with that kind of stuff because I'll be like, yeah, this is gonna happen, and then it happens, and I'm like, who's there? But I would be like, there was that one time where we were in the other house and we were like down in like the same area, and Mom had her phone out and was just recording. We were in the pitch black, and she was just asking questions, and then she played the sound back, and you could hear a man speak.
Yeah,
and it's like, bro, this is our house.
Right.
This isn't some random abandoned place. Right. This is where we live. And she's like, okay, well, make sure when you go to bed, you don't think about it. Otherwise, you're going to draw in an evil spirit.
Right.
And it's like the same thing. Like, people say you're not supposed to get naked in front of mirrors because you could draw a demon out.
Supposedly, that's what they talk about having the TV in your room, because that's literally a black mirror where things can come and look at you and stuff like that. There's a TV right
in front of my room. Why would you tell me that?
I know.
God, why? I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Look at my bedroom.
I got several black screens.
Put a blanket over
I have so many screens.
Put a blanket over
it. I'm going to have to. I want that thing out of my room.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to ask you this.
Side
Why
note.
can I not? Because I brought this up at work. And I was told, and it always makes me feel bad because I get told, like, like when people tell you things and you're like, yeah. And you go home to repeat it to somebody else and you're like, I can't remember all of it. I sound like a jerk. Why can't I take a long, let's say 8 feet, 9 feet, rectangle and strap it to the top of my car and drive?
So, going at the speeds that you're going to have to go on the highway, strapping something like that with straps across it, and when the wind comes up underneath it, if you've ever seen when people do mattresses and stuff like that, and even though they're strong, they can break because of the wind resistance on it. There's a good chance
my car is not 8 feet long.
And you can't have it hanging over the front.
Even
you can't have it hanging over the front of the.
What about
the windshield?
What about the window that opens in the back?
That doesn't open.
God, it doesn't.
No.
Okay, what about a window?
If it
on
did,
the side?
I would say that would be okay.
It's
not just that has to fit in this. It's the drawers
those
too.
Those on top. You just put it on top of that, and then you put like blankets, and so it can't move. Yes, this is a solid plan.
It's not a solid plan.
It is.
It's a horrible plan.
God, I want that desk so bad.
I know.
I can't do anything right now.
I know.
I feel so unorganized, and it bothers me.
It bothers me.
My papers are. I feel like I can't work. I have this new computer that is a very expensive computer that you've told me not to put on my bed, but I can't fit it on my desk. That is not really a desk. It's a side table.
I have sat and tried to figure this out with you and without you on what we can do.
Why won't they deliver from the warehouse?
From the store. They don't have it in the warehouse. They don't have it in the warehouse.
They make it in the warehouse.
No, it gets delivered from their supplier to the warehouse.
Okay.
They currently don't have any in the warehouse.
Why won't they deliver from the store?
I don't know.
How do we know when they have it in the warehouse?
I don't know. I don't know.
You didn't ask?
No.
Well, we'll have to call them and ask. So my friend
Petunia
said that she was going to try and convince her parents to let us go because she has the van that would fit it, and then we could go because it's only 3 hours away. And tomorrow would be a perfect day to go get that because none of us have school, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a car that she doesn't drive. Her parents are worried.
Understandable.
Reasonable. But, yeah, the website, I got the text message that said it was in stock.
Yeah, but I found there it said not in stock.
Right. Which I think it's one of those things where it's like, we're trying to let you know immediately before we let everybody else know.
Or somebody else got the thing and they went over there and bought it that fast. Because it said there was like 30 people.
Limited, yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I want that desk so bad.
I know you do.
I don't want any kind of other desk.
I know.
I'd be willing to get the two separate parts and merge them together.
That doesn't work like that.
Why doesn't it work like that?
It would not work. You would not be happy.
Why?
Because you would not be happy.
I feel like I would be happy.
There would literally be bars, two bars right here.
Right, and the other one has the one bar.
Right, but
and
it's in the back. But it's in the back.
We could put the two in the back.
You can't.
We just we glue the parts together.
Wouldn't work that way.
It would. Why? It's wood.
It doesn't work that way.
We put the wood glue, put the wood pieces together, put the one thing in the middle.
It doesn't work that way.
Why not? It literally would be like building the other one, just merging the two halves.
You can't do that.
Why?
Because you can't.
You're just saying we can't, but I feel like we could.
It won't work.
I'm so feeling like it would
be happy
work.
with it.
I feel like I would be.
I know
you know what I'm not happy with?
What you not
having the desk.
I'm
not having any desk. I have no space in my room.
I'm trying for you.
I'm giving you the option. Here's the option. We go, not this. This has no storage. If I sell both the things that I have now and then end up with no storage, I'm just going to have everything on my floor.
Like pancakes.
I know nobody wants that. My other option is to buy something like this, which I don't want.
I don't think you should.
I don't want it. Or a desk that's like, like the other one, just with the no storage. And then buy the stupid little containers. Which I don't want.
I don't want you to do that.
Because they're ugly.
Mm-hmm. And you would not be happy.
I wouldn't be happy.
We want you happy.
I want the desk. But you're telling me that there's literally no possible way to get this desk. Because there was the Richmond one.
Yeah.
And then there was the Charlotte one.
No, there was never one in Richmond. There was one in Norfolk.
There was one. Well, that... What's the difference?
3 hours.
Yeah. I feel like that was... I even said Richmond to everyone today, and they were like... And I said, yeah, it's like a 6-hour drive. And they were like, that's 3 hours. And I was like, no. It's Norfolk. That's 6 hours. Anyways, I want the desk.
Okay. So. Here's
my issue.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever be happy again without the desk. It's stressing me out. We're getting further, and getting more into school. I have to print out papers. I have to have all my binder stuff. Literally, all of that right now is by my bed. Because there's nowhere else for me to put it. Yeah. I literally can't put that anywhere else.
Dude, I'm trying what I can.
Because I don't want to clean my room all the way like I've been doing.
Yeah.
Or just to have it where it's like, oh, we now have you this desk.
Yeah.
What was the point? Because now I have to take all the stuff back out, put it all over my floor again, build this thing, and then try and set it up again. There's no point in it. So I'm trying to hold off, but my room's just getting worse.
Yeah.
And it's just making me sadder.
Mm.
And it's hard to be, like, want to be productive when I have no room to be productive.
Okay. I'm trying.
I don't see why.
I have actively been trying with
What
you.
if we build a aerodynamic mechanism to put on top so that when we strap it down, it in fact does not blow up and break? Why would it break? It's in cardboard.
Because it'll snap. Because you're going 75,
Why
80 miles down the road.
That's too fast.
Even if you're going 55, here's what it's going to sit and do. Just like that. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen with it, okay? It's going to keep doing this.
Shakes.
Eventually, there's going to be a weak point, and it's going to start to bend more. And then it's going to snap. And when that happens, it's going to snap and fly back.
Just take the van.
Your friend said no.
She said she was trying to convince her parents.
And there's only so much.
She wasn't sure if we could. I was going to actually if we could call the place and reserve one of the things.
No, you'd have to pay for it and go pick it up.
I would do that.
Verify that it's in stock, pay for it over the phone, say I'll be there to pick it up. That's what you'd have to do.
Why did you not tell me that?
I don't know. I feel like I did.
That literally would have been a vital...
Because you have to go pick it up.
Right. My friend's concern is that we're going to get there. Like, her parents are concerned is that we're going to get there and they're going to be out of stock.
Oh, before you ever leave, you have to pay for it and waiting for you. Oh, yeah. I would make sure that. Why would I not have?
I want this death so bad. Bleeping bad.
We'll call tomorrow. Look.
We'll call tomorrow. I have Tuesday, and that's my only other option. And she has a class, her lab's Tuesday. She gets off at 1. So you're telling me we're going to make a 6-hour drive. We're going to get back at real late at night if her parents let us go.
It's 3 hours down, 3 hours back.
Yeah. 6 hours. That's still, that would leave at 1. We're still getting back at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8, 9 o'clock. Because you'll have to find it in the store. I'm going to get lost for 4 hours.
Oh, no, they'd have it up front for you.
Oh. Well, how nice.
Yeah.
I want to go explore the store. We're going to IKEA. Gotta look around, get lost.
Yeah.
Get spaghetti. They make food there.
I know. I've been to one.
Really?
Yeah, up in Jersey.
Been to one. I've never been to one.
All right.
I hope to go.
Rip. So.
The second part of that is that I do have to convince. I need mom's credit card. Because that's what she was going to put it on anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't have the money to put it on my debit card.
Yeah.
Or my credit card.
Right.
Meow, 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 meow.
Fool.
Where are we at?
The movie was written by none other than John Hughes.
Wow, I love him.
I
don't know who that is.
John Hughes brought us gems from the 80s and 90s, such as Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, Home Alone 1 and 2, Uncle Buck. John Hughes, dude.
Did he make Nemo?
No.
Sure.
No.
No.
Not to mention a whole lot more, though. He did make a lot of movies. Mr. Mom has also has an all-star cast with not only Keaton and Gar, but actors like Ann Gillian, Christopher Lloyd, Martin Mull, and Jeffrey Tambor. The film really helped to play on gender and family roles shifting in the 1980s. You can clearly see it in the movie that respect for women in the business world was limited. Carolyn is brought in supposedly for her view from a modern mom's perspective, but it is revealed that Richardson's true motives are, at the end of the movie, what they are. Even to today, women in power positions are often portrayed as ice queen, rigid people. In 1987's Baby Boom, the main character is nicknamed the Tiger Lady until she is left a baby to care for and her maternal instincts kick in and make her soft. In 2009 movie The Proposal, Sandra Bullock's character is also portrayed as a rigid ice queen until she falls in love with Ryan Reynolds' character and is reminded of what real family is like. So, it's like films will not allow women to be in power positions without also being savage.
And and also a woman's not complete without a man. There's that too.
Or they can't be without the bait. Like she was whatever she was until this baby comes into her life, and then I realize.
That's why a lot
and
of
then finds a
women,
real man, and then
you see where a lot of women also now don't want to have kids for that exact reason, where they feel like they're succumbing to some kind of norm where I'm not complete unless I reproduce.
Yeah.
Unless I am not anything to anybody else except to make a child.
Now, some of that's genetics. Some of that's in your hormonal
Right.
wise.
Yeah.
Like that's it. But other is social norms of what you're expecting. Yeah.
Yeah. We learned about that in my class, actually.
Yeah.
How men instinctively look for women with womb-bearing hips. They can tell.
Childbearing. Yep.
Well, I mean, come on. Same thing. Womb-bearing.
So.
Childbearing.
I'm not sure how reflective of real life this is anymore. I do know that there was a thing called the glass ceiling. Have you ever heard about the glass ceiling? Basically, it refers to how high a woman was able to rise in power positions within a company due to gender. It was called the glass ceiling, literally to where women can get this high, but a man could get the job.
I literally struggle with that at work all the time.
Yes.
That is one of my biggest complaints about my job. Even now, trying to work into management and feeling for a blank second that I have any kind of respect from my peers.
Yeah.
And it's hard being who I am, and also a lot, especially where we work and the jokes and things, and men being men jokes kind of thing, where you're like, yeah, I'm one of the boys because I make these jokes too, ha ha ha, and then losing all respect for your who you are because you do the same things, kind of. So it's like I can't be serious because you're not going to take me seriously.
Yep.
I literally today I have had an issue with people taking the cups out of where they go, designated cup spots, and moving them to other places and not putting them back when they're done.
You told me about this.
It got brought up again today because I brought it up last week to both the general manager and the assistant manager, one of the two assistant managers.
Yeah.
And today I brought it up to the second assistant manager as well, and was like, because he said, you guys need to stop breaking down boxes, take the extra 5 seconds and do that after you refill the cheese. And I was like, yeah, no problem. You need to do this, for me, that take the extra, oh god, I saw the tail and I thought it was the head, and I was like, why are you so long? But I was like, if you don't mind taking the extra 2 seconds that it is to, if you want to use your hands, cool, you're not wasting my money, you're wasting his. But if you want to use your hands and not the cups, that's cool, just move it back to where you go because I use the cups.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to sit there and do that. And he literally picked up, he just went back to work and picked up the cup and moved it, next to him. It was like a mushroom cup full of pepperonis. And I went over, I turned it upside down, slammed it on the bar so the pepperonis would fall out, put it back in the cup. And I said, how hard is it? Honestly, I just want to see a change. This man looked me in my eyes and said, okay, that's reasonable. We'll make the change. We'll do it. And then literally not even an hour later, did it again with several other things. I was like, how are you going to do that?
Right.
How are you going to say that to me and then just forget?
It's
It
dismissive.
didn't matter. It didn't matter at all.
It's dismissive.
I brought it up so many times. And when the general manager is on my side, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're wasting product. You're not doing this right amounts. You're making it so where cost amounts are off.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're wasting doing this, and people are telling you to be better, and you sit there and you just say,
Yeah.
That's unfair.
It is.
If you have to wait for the boss to yell at you and threaten to take away your hours and everything, to be like, oh, maybe I'll think about making a difference for maybe 2 of my shifts and then go back to, it's just crap.
No.
And it's upsetting, and I don't want to get upset about it. I hate getting angry over what somebody else has done.
Yeah.
Because it just ruins the rest of my shift. I worked 12 to 8 today. It's a long shift. It's longer in the mornings or in the afternoons when you have to sit there and we don't have as much business.
Right.
So a lot of it's just standing around and waiting for time to pass.
Yes.
And it's a lot of feeling it at the end of your shift, towards the end of it, where you have all the business and you're like, oh god, I've been here all day. And I'm sitting there, and just because I don't smoke, I don't get a break every hour and a half.
Right.
I get mine maybe once for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Out in my car when it's hot.
Yeah.
And not towards the end of my shift because it's end of my shift, but right after, maybe an hour or 2 after the business has died. So where I would be leaving at 10, my break is at 8:15.
Yeah.
And I've been there since 12. Yeah. So it's like, it's sitting there and knowing that no matter how much I complain, there is no point to it. Or if I do complain, it's like, women, sensitive.
So that was my next line after what I was saying is the good old boys club definitely existed and exists today, and women are a threat to this. There is the
good old boys club.
We good old boys.
Oh
yeah. So
we actually call that, my generation just call it the boys, with like that little icy emoji after it.
Yeah.
For the type of men who are like that, where they're like, yeah, women, you are to belong in the kitchen type stuff. Well,
basically, when you get a whole bunch of men together without their wives, without women, without this, certain conversations, certain this, sexism, potential racism, homophobia, all of that kind of stuff, especially the older gender guys, that's how it gets. You know, the stag reel comes out with the movies, with the porny stuff and smoking cigars and having conversations. And that's where business deals often got made, was in those. So it was almost impossible for women to break into that because, I mean, these guys might be sitting around in a sauna completely nude.
Yeah.
Drinking, smoking, talking about stupid shit. And while they're doing that, they decide. Oh, I did.
It's okay, I said it earlier. But
while they're doing that,
E for explicit.
They are also making a deal to where you're going to buy your cars from me from now on.
Yeah, where it's like, you know what? I trust you. I like you, John.
Because
I'll buy your car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then you walk out and Sally Smith, she can't be in there naked. She's seen as weak. And when just like what you said, when you have an opinion on something, it's heard from a different place. Men hear that as, like you said, whining or complaining or, oh, that's just a female, and you're even to boot, you've got a double because you're younger and a female. And because he still sees you as 14-year-old Beth, and that's something that is.
And also because
sucks.
I have been working on it, and I was really good today. I was actually really proud of myself because instead of yelling, I was at a controlled level and didn't say anything. And I actually waited until the end of my shift, and I said goodbye to one manager who didn't upset to me. And I said, thank you. I thank you for, I thank you for taking what I have to say into consideration and working with me. And I was like, I really appreciate that. And I kept my own steady. I complained about what I wanted to complain about with having a manager who looks me in the eye and does all this and still will not change. Literally was just nothing but disrespectful of how I felt. And another one where you're complaining about the same dude who just isn't anything, but you're doing the same thing he is. I was like, thank you. Because I appreciate it. I do. And I was like, I know that you do the same thing. We've had this conversation. You told me you're going to work on it. I appreciate that. That was it. And I left. But I have built before in previous years without, like, now I'm really trying to work on it because, I want to go into management. But I'm tone deaf. I literally can't hear myself.
Right.
And so I get loud. And because I feel like you're talking over me, I get louder. And that gets turned into screaming, or you see it as screaming, and you're like, emotional. You get an emotional. Right. And it's like, especially when my vocabulary as a young person is to use a lot of swears. Yeah. Because then as soon as you use a swear, you're unprofessional. Yes. Even though everyone else does it. Yes. As soon as I do it, it's different. Yep. It's unprofessional. You're being emotional. You need to calm down. Yep. I need to calm down. So today, I stepped back. I said, I said out loud, I've been having a great day. I plan to finish my shift having a good day. But this is ridiculous. I looked at the general manager. I said, we have had conversations, and I actually really appreciate. I feel like he puts me on earlier now because he likes our talks. Yeah. Because he listens to me now. Good. We really have been sitting there and listening and talking. And I said, you group the three of us that you want to go into management together in one group whenever you mentioned being like, oh, you guys want to step up and do this, but no one wants to take the time and everything. I was like, but I am really trying. I said, and I really want to try and be the best that I can be. I've been sitting here and I try to pay more attention when you guys get put on the calls as managers to hear what you have to say and feedback to customers so I can handle myself. I made a mistake the other day where I went in on till B and took a card and cashed it out that way.
Ooh.
And that's fine if it was a phone order. It's a web order. So when I changed it on till B because I can't cash out on till B, and it made the price more. Wife calls back. She's like, hey, no problem. I'm just curious as to why my order was like $6 more when it said it was this much online. So I said, you know what? No problem. I'm really sorry this happened. I'll free out your pizza for next time. I'll get a manager over to it. No problem. Hung up. Management was having a bad day on the line. Because I was up front, I was handling it, and said, oh yeah, just give them a free pizza. They do that anyways.
Right.
That probably is exactly what would have happened, regardless. They asked me, why does this need to be quality guaranteed? I lied. I said, oh, she said her spinach pizza didn't have any spinach on it, like barely any on there, not enough toppings, because they undertop like hell over there.
Yeah.
And apparently this was the one pizza where they were really trying, and they said, nah, I put hella spinach on that pizza. I made sure that pizza, I was like, that's ridiculous, I'm not doing this, and I was like, she doesn't want it he was like, why can't we do it now? Get the pizza back. And I was like, she's not going to be home. Because I was trying to like continue with that. I was like, she wanted it for dinner now. She had a period of time where she had it, and then she's got to go back to work type deal. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. But I covered my ass. And I was like, damn. And like thinking about it, I was like, oh man, I wish I would have been just like, it was my fault. I made the pizza, whatever. But in the moment of time, I was scared and I panicked.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Usually it's not.
Right.
Usually you just come over, put your thumb on it, and leave, But I was scared. I was like, and then I got I was like also being like, they kind of yelling at me too, like, no, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't have told her, offered that at all. But you know what I'm saying? But it's like, they also the other day was talking, because there was like the three of us, and that was when I first brought up the cup thing, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, how nobody wants to work the oven. And it's like how one of the managers will see everyone look at the oven going and do nothing about it, and it's always him who has to step on and do it. And it's like, my first thought was, oh God, when has that happened? Because I really try to catch things like that. Like, I was like, unless I really, because I even apologized. I was, you know what, I just want to say that I'm sorry, because obviously you said that you saw it happened, and I apologize that I've done that. I'll try to, be more careful from now on. But I was like, honestly, in situations like that, I try to call it as I see it. Everyone knows that I don't like to slap as much. It destroys my hands.
Yeah.
It literally destroys my hands. I get allergic reactions and like these rashes that come up on my hands and everything. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, so if I have where the option is for me to make the pizza instead, where I am literally 10 times faster than any of you in this store, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait for you guys to come over and slap out this pizza if you're right there. If you're not right there, I'm slapping it out. Whatever. Tough it up. And still, sometimes comments will be made where it's like, and some of us don't even want to slap the pizzas out and don't even want to do this. And it's like, bro, you would rather have me on a position where, I said this the other day, I was like, you would rather have me somewhere where I am not fast. I can make the pizza. It's going to look okay. But I'm not fast, and it's not the best quality. You'd rather have me there than at the, like, any other position in the store where I am an A on my great game kind of guy. And I was like, and it was like, well, you need to be able to be everywhere.
Yep.
I'm like, that's fine. I've been here for 5 years, almost 5 years now. Like, I know how to do everything.
Right.
I literally know how to do everything.
And you do it right, which I give you kudos to. You do it right.
And I was like, we can play this game? But you want to put me here on a Friday night and say literally anything about how slow I'm going, and I'm going to blow my lid. Because you can put me here, and I'll slap. I've done it before,
Sure.
But you're going to say anything about how slow it's going, and I'm going to blow my lid off at you. Because there is no way, like there's no reason for you to want me to do everywhere and be everywhere if you want me in one location. That's ridiculous. I was like, my problem is when you have where one person wants to come over and stand in between the sauce person and the slap person. That is not a position. That is you being lazy. And I complain about that so much.
I can relate.
And I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yep.
And I was like, but if, I was like, I try to call it as I see it. You know, you have where certain people are just better at the oven, you know, but I try to grab that if I can. I don't mind working in the oven.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm by myself. That's my area type deal. That's me. And I was like, but I don't appreciate it if you're going to put me on oven and then load everything right next to each other 2 bars apart. Where is the time in that?
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it has been a landmine at work recently with that because you have where all of us are going into management, so there's higher expectations for people, and then those certain people failing expectations because they're not meant for that job position.
Right.
And so you're disappointing yourself by expecting someone to rise up and be better, and it's not happening.
Yeah.
And sitting there, and I enjoy having conversations where it's like, it's funny to me how this person does this, X, Y, and Z, and then, like, nothing being done about it. Like, complaining about how someone will come over to the dough station and put Dustinator everywhere, and not clean it up and leave and go home, and be like, oh, I'm gonna make them clean it, and then not making them clean it. Or you make them clean it and don't tell them why they need to be cleaning it.
Yeah. And
nothing changes. I was like, it's like bad parenting. It's like you're not handling this. You're not explaining why. I was like, when I explained the cup situation, I said, this is how it affects me.
Right.
You're making it harder on me. We are a team. I get that you don't want this, but the cups are there for a reason. I have my boss who chimes in and goes, yeah, you're costing me money. You know, you're costing all of us money that way. And where it's like, this is a solution. Just take the 3 seconds to put it back in the container.
Right.
It literally takes, but nothing. Throw it all around. I literally got past the pineapple cup. I brought it back down to the stall station. I said, good luck making pineapple, you know, not that it's going to affect you because you use your hands anyway, but when you use your hands, they go, oh, I got pineapple juice all over my hands. Why do you think you have pineapple juice all over your hands? You're just the dumbest person ever? Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And I had to sit there and be like, I would really appreciate it if this happens. And then you as my manager look at me and like, yeah, let's make this difference. I got you. I'll make sure that this happens for you type thing.
Yeah.
And then you're also part of the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, come on. And I like the people I work with for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, and I like my management. And I have where I can talk and to the one of them, like the one, and be like, here's what I struggle. I struggle with communicating. I always have. I talked to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about, more serious topics, and I started crying. And I was like, no, bro, this is not me actually crying. It's just a natural instinct for me.
As we learned.
As we talked about it, and it's like, this is what it is. I just don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And I was like, but this is what it is. I just have I have a hard time communicating. Same thing with, like, my speech impediment. If I don't say everything I say as I say it, like, think it, I stutter. And then if I stutter because I'm nervous or, you know, like, feeling over emotional, I then get self-conscious about the fact that I stuttered. And it's like, bro, everyone knows. It's like, man, everyone's gonna hear that I stuttered and go, man, she stutters, gross. And that's like, stuff like that, because, like, in shows, when they show you and they're like, oh, little Jimmy here stuttered, like, The Notebook, when he stuttered and his dad had him read poems.
Yeah.
That does not help me. I play, you know, it does actually, little MMO games where you have your little 8-bit character and they have the speech things that come up, like Pokemon games, and you had to read that like that. I did that with friends in middle school, where we play a game and we gave everyone a character, and I would go through the game, and if anytime that character came up, you would read that line. And I had my own lines, and that helped me a lot with reading out loud and reading off screens. And we were doing that recently with this new game that I got, and I was really happy. Like, this kind of feels like nostalgic to me because I used to play games like this and read the characters like this, and I was like, it's really fun. I'm having a good time with this. But with it as well, sometimes I'll go a little too fast, and I'll stutter, and I'll mess up words, or I'll merge them together, and I just keep going. And my friends will be like, what even was that word? You know, and it's like, ha, ha. You know? But to me, I'm trying to focus on, right now, controlling my thoughts and regulating my emotions. And that is how I'm trying to deal, because right now my life is so unorganized that it is incredibly stressful. I feel like with school that I don't have any, because everything feels like it's everywhere, I feel like I can't time management well, and that I'm missing assignments, that I'm not missing. And because I've been really good so far about getting everything done before Sunday.
Yeah.
Or at least on Sunday, everything's done. And it's like week 2, you know? And, but I'm sitting here and I'm really, like, stressed out about thinking about having to my area not being my own. Things not being where they're supposed to be, sitting there, and, like, time management, money management, like the actual, like, thought that I had today was, like, because I was trying to I was like, I need this desk so bad that I'm willing to go broke for it. You know, I'm willing to literally be like, hey, you drive us in your car, I'll buy you gas, I'll buy you dinner, just get me this desk, because that's how bad I want this desk. And I went to my bank account, and I was, like, trying to subtract, because I'm like, right now I have a reasonable amount of money where bills can be paid and everything. And if I bought that desk with the money I have now, I wouldn't have anything.
Right.
And I have bills to pay.
Right.
And
life to live.
I'm sitting here and thinking, I was like, like, one of the thoughts that crossed my mind was, like, can I, afford not to eat for, like, a couple days? Like, can I afford, because, like, today I went out before work, and I was hoping to catch the breakfast menu, but I worked at 12, and I left at, like, 11 something. They close at 11. The menu stops at 11.
Taco Bell?
Yeah. Huh. And because I was so excited. I was pissed when I got there. I was like, damn, but I can't get this. But I was sitting, like, before I turned to be like, because I didn't eat before I left the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I really going to go my entire 8-hour shift without eating anything? Because I'm too scared to buy an $8 meal.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's stressful. And I get a lot of that is also what a lot of college students deal with. And it's like, yeah, this is fine. But working what I work, dealing with what I have to at work, coming home to a room that is destroyed right now, just destroyed.
Yeah. Not
being able to buy things that I want to buy, or, like, like, the other night, like, I saw that tweet about the Glass Animals concert and the merch. I want to buy merch really bad, but I'm sitting here thinking, like, can I afford to do that?
Yeah.
Like, and I was thinking about and I was like, oh yeah, I'll bring the money that's in the piggy bank that I've been saving, my tips.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the money that's in the piggy bank that I don't want to touch and I don't want to open, because once I open it, then it's opened.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I'll just reach into this for, like, food money.
Right.
And then it's like, what was the point? But I want to be able to go to that concert and forget about the fact, like, any of my problems for just a day.
Yeah. Not
even a day, just for that couple span of hours. And I saw clips, or, like, not even clips, pictures of what, the, Carolina, I think that's what they just went to, concert. And, because it's getting closer, so they're coming down the states.
Yeah.
And, it looked so cool. They had, like, neon lights. They had, like, the cool little, like, effects going. And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be awesome. And then I was like, I don't have the money for this. I was sitting there thinking, like, I want that hoodie so bad. I love this band. This band is my favorite band ever. I want the hat. I want the hoodie. I want the bottle of water. And then I'm like, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. You know? And it's stressful to think stuff like that. Like, I'm going to spend that money. When we're going to go and I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to bring it in cash, because I don't know if they take card and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm going to bring both. But I'm going to have it in cash as well. And I'm going to spend the money. And I'm going to buy what I want to buy, and deal with it when I get home and be like,
Well, don't forget we got to pay gas getting there too.
Hey, you gotta pay gas.
And food.
I bought the tickets.
I bought my ticket.
I bought my ticket. Right, so you pay your gas.
Ugh, okay, I'll pay my gas.
It's your car.
Do you know if we have to pay for parking?
I don't know.
We probably do.
You can pay for parking.
Just so you know.
You're paying for my time.
Wow.
But I won't let you do that. You can instead pay for the parking. We have to get there early. As well.
Okay.
Because I want the merch. If we get there and the merch is all sold out,
we really need to get
pissy.
We need to get yeah. No, we need to get this. We need to get that day organized of how we're doing and stuff like that. I agree.
Because it starts at like 7. But
it's a 3-hour tour. We'll get there.
Get home late. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's gonna suck.
I'm glad it's what the time is though, because it's after I have school.
Right, but at the same time, bruh.
And I don't have
driving back after being at a concert for hours on the highway and on 80.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
Suck. Yeah, you can't because I'm driving. You have to stay awake with me.
Why?
Because I'll fall asleep.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
We've already gone to the concert.
Yeah.
What's the point?
We're good. I mean, at this point, we're good.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited to do that because I enjoy a part of my childhood that I really like to remember is car rides. Going to and from like oceans or like to the like beach and like random places and long car drives to and from places, not necessarily be in the back because I get car sick, but the idea of like, oh, when are we gonna stop at a gas station to get to buy a bunch of snacks, buy a drink and buy stuff like that. Like that, I enjoy road trips. They're fun. I enjoy having the music on and then kind of being like really tired after a certain point. I didn't enjoy driving an hour to like Danville because the Xterra like literally started to break down and was like, oh god, no, because the hood started to shake like violently because it does not handle speeds like that.
I don't understand why that does that. That scares me that you tell me that.
I know, right? It scared me. I was like, this
that was
thing's
before you got your
pop on
tires
us.
done.
But the tires still drift. The balance is still off on that.
Okay.
But you're right. It was before I got the tires done. But the hood still popped. Like, it was still like... and it's like, oh, bro, I want to slow down, I'm only going like 70. It was fine. It was that highway.
Oh, okay.
But...
I couldn't find the budget for this movie.
Low.
But it did find that it grossed $64.8 million in the box office.
That just makes me sad.
It did well enough to get John Hughes a 3-movie deal with Universal for $30 million. So I'd say it did well.
Was it a Universal film?
Well, he got the 3 movies. The Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, and those. So
Lord.
yeah. Apparently, in 2018, there was a show developed for the streaming service Vudu, based on the movie that was continuation of the film following a present-day Megan Butler and her return to workforce while her husband takes over the home duties. So the baby was now
An adult? What the heck?
And going, yeah, I know, creepy. It premiered in 2019. It had 11 episodes. I don't think that it was anything. I think that was it for it. And there was a show way back when, in like 84, 85 apparently, that I have no clue about, that was based on it as well. It had completely different actors, actors, storyline, all that kind of stuff, but it was supposed, whatever.
Can't afford the same. That's what I always hate about certain movies when they use high, like Beyonce or like Rihanna to voice act the character.
Yeah.
Because there's like singing later on or whatever in it,
Yeah.
And they can't afford, like to do a spin-off TV show and have the same voice actors.
Yeah.
Because it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
But it always bothers me because then I go and like watch the show, like say I really enjoyed the movie, and I go to watch the show, and if the character doesn't sound the same, it's like, bro,
who are you?
Who are you?
I don't even know you.
I don't even know you. So.
The movie did do well, for the most part, with critics, and was seen as a good representation of the age-old struggle of gender roles. So,
age-old struggle. You make it a struggle. Jerks.
Well, again, you have to think about... It really was. I mean, there's a movie in the 70s, I think, that Sally Field was in that had to do with women's right and women's suffrage, and I mean, and getting rights working in a factory and stuff like that. Think of the old cartoons, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, which was even set in the future, but it was still at that point in time. Think of the old shows, the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
All of these, these shows have where the man goes off and earns a wage.
It sets up for
and
children.
The woman sits at home
Ideals.
and then not just that, but I mean, there was a really good movie, Mona Lisa Smiles, that has Julia Roberts in it. And it's about where she teaches at the Wellesley School, I think is what it is. And literally what it is that's a preparatory school. It's about teaching women how to learn to be a good spouse, to be ideal for the best man that you can find. How do you do this? Well, I learned to swim. I keep my body.
It makes me upset too, because there's a lot of time, like there's times where I wish that I was born where, like, during the era, like
the 1920s, flapperism and stuff like that.
Where you have like the certain like style, the style of the 1920s, 1930s, like in the music. I would have loved that.
Yep.
Would have loved it. I would not have loved the threat of going home and being beaten.
Right.
Or literally having no say in any... Oh, God. There was a book that we had to read in English, my AP class, junior year, about a woman who was... It was supposed to be a feminist book. And she didn't want to be with her husband anymore, and she didn't want to have to deal with her kids, and there was a man she loved, and what she wanted. She was forced into this marriage. She was forced to have the kids. It was all for views or social, whatever. So it's like, okay, I'm fine with you. Run away with this man, whatever. But then at the end of the damn book, this girl goes, I miss my kids. She goes, she sees the kids one last time, hugs the kids. Oh, I love you, kids. I love you. If I was her kid, I'd be like, you're a stranger. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Because she's never around. She didn't want to see her kid. At the beginning of the book, she's like, I don't even want to see him. Take him away from me. Kind of thing. And she is she gets her husband on the same page. She moves out of the house with the husband, buys her own place. She's a painter or whatever. She's doing her own thing. Gonna make her own money, Yes, go off. She wants to live with the man she loves. The man goes to see her. He's all like, mwah. I love you, so I'm setting you free, kind of thing. Where he's like, you deserve better. He's like, you're doing fine on your own. I can't hold you back. He's like, if I stay here, it is only gonna make your reputation look terrible, and I can't do that to you. They're gonna judge you socially. They're gonna judge me. I won't be able to find a job. I won't be able to provide for you. He leaves. She kills herself. You don't get the man you want, and you killed yourself. What is that? The whole book. What was it? What was it for? You basically just proved that you needed a man to be satisfied. You were doing fine. She was doing fine on her own. She hadn't even seen him. He had left. Like, he was somewhere else. He came back, and she was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Because before he came back, she was making money. She was living her own. She had her own place. It was her family's money that she had inherited, not her husband's. Yeah. It was hers. He comes back. I can't be with you. Kills herself. That book pissed me off so bad.
Yeah.
I was so mad. We showed up in class. We had like a somatic seminar about it. And no one was touching the subject of like the end. And I sat there and said, okay, let's talk about how the point of the whole book was just garbage. And everyone got so quiet. And I was like, I said exactly that. And I was like, so what was the point? This book's supposed to be for women positivity, doing your own thing. But as soon as she wasn't allowed to have the man that she wanted, she killed herself. Let's talk about that. And my teacher literally was like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Anyways, it's like, bro, like, what? I was like, you gave us this book because you wanted us to learn about feminist in the 1920s. Yeah. 1940s,
Right.
Early times. You wanted us to have a book like that because we did that one and we did another one you know, and you want us to see how it is. I mean, the one with like, oh god, what's that? I just saw a video on it that we had to do the other day where it's like Darcy and Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy. Oh god, what's that book called? I know asking you is pointless. Hold on. Just gotta type in the name and I have it. What is the name?
What's Mr. Darcy?
You know, from the Pride and Prejudice. Sorry, that's what it is. Pride and Prejudice, where the whole thing is about he looks at her as a woman at first and as a status thing. And then he goes and they fall in love. But it is the same thing where it's like you have these stories and everything where you, at the end of these books that are about feminists and everything, if you have where the woman is only happy towards the end with the man, what is the point? It's like there's still that, like, why not? I mean, you're gonna have, it made me more upset with the book where she killed herself because that's so dramatic. She really felt like she had no other option but to die. And it's like, dude, you were doing so well. He didn't even, I think I remember, like, he wasn't even leaving. Or like, he was leaving again. Like, there was no reason why he would never have come back. Like, just wait till he comes back. You know, and be like, hey, man, I'm good. See how good I'm doing?
Yeah.
This is fine. Let's make it work. Nope, gonna kill myself. Bruh.
Blech.
You know? But, like, as a kid, watching shows where, and a lot of them got wiped out very fast.
Yeah.
And that's, I kind of love the age group, like, between yours and mine, where you have the kids who, like grew up, like, right at the end of, like, Scooby-Doo and, like, SpongeBob. Like, when SpongeBob was first being introduced, and they grew up on, like, Scooby-Doo era, and they had, like, the one, like, cat and dog. Those kids?
Yeah.
Those kids, you know, that now they're grown up.
It's kind of Donnie.
Yeah.
Donnie's about 10 years younger than me. He's about right that, so.
I like that age group, because it's like, they get a little bit of both sides, but are still in the middle ground, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna go with this, we're gonna go up with it, though. It's like, we're look at the kids, like my generation, as kids still, and not as actual people with thoughts and feelings, because we're kids, but they think of themselves as, like, not these old people who have their old stuck-in-the-mud ways, but as, like, the change in the world that they want to see. But not really the change in the world, they're still affecting the like, climate and everything. And then my age group is like, oh, hell yeah, we're gonna change everything. You know, we're gonna be, like, the actual change. And, you know, do stuff, but we're still, like, way too young.
Right.
And so we can't do anything. And I have, like, a lot of friends who are, like, reach out and they feel, like, especially in certain households and areas where they're like, I want to make a difference, but I literally don't have a way to. Yeah. And they feel really frustrated with that. And it's like, yeah, I understand. You know, there's certain stuff that you can do at a certain age and be like, yeah, do what you can. But we, like, in a retrospect, we can't do anything for another, like, 20 years. You know, like, I can't do anything until after I finish college.
Right.
And got a job. And even then, if I, like, say I wanted to affect the school board, I have to have, like, way more education. I have to be in a certain position for a certain amount of years and then get moved up after someone dies or quits, you know? And so if I wanted to be like, you know what, guys? I'm going to be the change. I'm going to make it so our school bathrooms are way nicer than what they are now. Right. Just you wait. Going into it 30, 40 years from now, if that, 50.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, why? Like, like, in how the Supreme Court just undid the thing that, yeah, right? The whole point of that was because women were going, but that's part of this, you know? Women were going and having unsafe and dying for their options, you know? And how as a group of people you decided, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Lol.
And they snuck it in.
Right.
While all this other Afghanistan stuff and
you have all this
COVID stuff.
but like now you're gonna have where women are gonna go right back to that, but there's ways around it now. You have where more stuff has come about, where there's like pills you can take now. There's medicine you can do. There's a bunch of way safer options. People are still gonna do. It's the same thing like with alcohol. So for a man's version, you know, because we're talking about this, when alcohol was taken away from men back in whenever, you know, when they were like prohibition, right? And they still found ways to sneak it in. Speakeasies, you know, overseas, like in crates and stuff, you know, sneaking stuff in because they wanted it that bad.
Right.
If people want something, they're gonna do it.
Right. Which is the whole initial argument in the first place, to say, instead of having these unsafe, I'll say it, coat hanger type situations that people were doing, let them come in and have it done in a safe, secure medical procedure.
Not Penny. I'm trying to think of her name from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. The Penny situation.
Yeah, but it wasn't Penny. It was wait,
it was Penny.
Her name's Penny? Was that? I thought it was the sister's name. What's the sister's name?
I don't even know.
I thought her name was Penny. No, you're right.
You've got Baby and you've got, I don't know,
black hair chick.
Yeah.
Complainy. But yeah, but it's just interesting to think, like, it's like if we suddenly came forward, like the health department came forward and was like, you know what? I'm really sick of seeing people come in with alcoholism problems and failed livers and just taken up, and where this kid could have had a liver, but you took it instead because you were just on the brink of death instead, and now this kid has died because he didn't get his liver because you got it, and you're gonna go drink it away type stuff. So we're gonna take away alcohol again.
Yeah.
People would uproar.
Yep.
There would be a whole uproar. And it's like,
I genuinely think that the uproar is coming, but they keep this is why I don't like politics.
Yeah.
This is why I don't like media. And this is why I have problems with this kind of stuff. Because bottom line right now, the majority of the world, there are how many states in America?
50?
Okay. How many states is this truly affecting right now?
1. Texas.
And in that state, how much of the state is being affected by it?
I don't know.
A small portion of it.
Yeah.
So right now, everybody's got the not my problem type mindset. Because, oh, the COVID, ooh, the COVID's going to get you. And, oh, the war in Afghanistan, and now we're going to get terrorist attacks because homie don't know what to do with himself. So pay attention to this while this is going on over here. And the Supreme Court was supposed to make that decision, but they were kind of like, and then they left. And then they went out of session. So everybody's kind of like, what the hell? And this has opened up a giant can of worms. And it's meant to have, there's a lot of reason why this stuff happens. That's beyond just people's rights. A lot of it is, what is that word? Dissension. I think is it.
I don't know what that word means.
And
dementia?
Divergence and stuff like that. It's meant to be distractions and to keep people fighting.
Apart.
They want us fighting. They want us doing that because this is something that people have a clear and precise decision on what you think. You're either for it or you're against it. And that's it. There is no middle ground, a lot of people. Well, there is. Because, you know, whatever. I can feel how I feel about it and still respect how you feel about it. I'm grown enough to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I think is right or wrong. I choose to fight for what I think this is, but I'll say it flat out. Lose a listener or whatever. If it was the other way around and we were the ones that were having the baby and getting pregnant and stuff like that, and I was going to make a decision one way or the other, you're not going to tell me
Yeah.
what I'm doing with that. Okay?
For me,
So-
as a female, for me it was really scary because junior year, I was on, and on God, I don't even want to go on Facebook anymore at this point. I don't like going on it because all it is now is just horrible. But I went on in my Latin class because it was one of the few websites that my computer wouldn't even let me go on. But I saw a post in this group where the main post was something where it was slightly related to pro-choice or pro-life.
Yeah.
And the comments were horrifying.
Yeah.
And as a female, it was like, you're really, as a person, okay with that? Like, seeing other women being like, kids who get raped.
Right.
And get pregnant, you want that person to give birth to something that they don't want,
Right.
didn't have a choice over? Nothing. There was no choice in that.
Right.
And you want them to not only either keep the child, but go, yeah, put it in the system.
Right.
Who's gonna want that kid?
Right. Well, right. Somebody would want the
I mean,
kid,
but you have so many kids in the system already
Right.
who don't get taken care of, who are going through that same thing that girl went through in the first place.
Right. And they're going to
And you have
repeat the cycle.
literally where people are only doing it to get money, to play the system. It's not fair. I understand that they're in some situations you have where people should not be having kids to begin with. You shouldn't have where you even did this. That is your fault. There are some things where if you don't want to use protection, you don't want to be on the pill, you don't want to do anything, and you still want to have unsafe, unprotected intercourse with somebody else, and you go, oh no, I got pregnant. That is on you, But I'm not gonna force you to do anything.
Right.
It is your life.
It's your life.
It is your life. If I sat there and it's the same thing with how people, to me, one way or another, it is what happens. Things happen, But I like to think of it way more abstractly, where you have two groups of people, and one group's side is really based on a higher power, and how you and your decisions are being controlled by something that you were taught. Some kids, my history teacher even said, how many of you, when you're ready, to be your own person, be 18, are going to follow along with your faith, and not just because your parents are telling you to. But you have where people have grown up because they've grown into households where their family was strict. Every Sunday we're doing this. Every meal we're doing this. You do this after every time before you go to bed. And that's what it is, and that's all they know. And that's fine. Live the way you want to.
Right.
But don't force that on me. That is not part of your faith.
Right.
That is not in there. And if you want to say certain things aren't allowed, it's also not allowed. Because you're following by the original testament or whatever. And when the New Testament came out and it was pixie and choosies because it went through and rearranged things to where what they wanted to happen the way it wanted, then you're not allowed to cut your hair ever.
Right.
That's also not allowed.
And eating fish.
Or
crustaceans. Crustacean type stuff. Yep. Oysters and that stuff. You eat that stuff?
So many things.
Sin.
Yeah, literally. And it's you had where you are now following along something else where it was rewritten or taken out of context or taken and done and whatever. And it's
used for the benefit of what you're saying.
For what you're doing, yeah. And a lot of it can be taken back to where men wanted to be in power.
Yep.
And this is not me being ooh, scary, no, an atheist, kind of thing. It's me being I grew up and realized and researched and saw what this is. Because I used to be Baptist, we used to go to church sometimes, we used to whatever. And I realized that I did not want to devote myself to that.
Yeah.
That is not for me. Personally, I don't feel like I want my life being controlled by what I am and am not allowed to do. If I want to get a tattoo, I feel like I should be allowed to get a tattoo. It's my body. If I want to dye my hair, if I want to do anything, it is my choice. I shouldn't have to feel like I have to wait till marriage until I'm with another a man, and when it is his choice to marry me or whatever, to have intercourse. I feel like that is a weird ideal that's placed on kids. It makes things scary. It makes it feel like it's not allowed. And like there are different religions where people don't even get to see their husbands before it goes. And I respect the hell out of that because that is your culture and everything. Cool. Not for me.
Right.
Not for me. And how are you as a person going to respect that as well, but not respect my choice of not wanting to follow along with your religion?
Yeah.
It's like, and like part of that feels kind of racy because it's like, oh, well, I see that you look like a normal American, you know, whatever. Do you like God? No. What's wrong with you? You know, kind of thing. And it's like, bro. And I have Christian friends who are like cool and like, yeah, you know, you don't have, I'm not gonna force anything on you. And I believe that is real. Like, that is what, you know, that's what it should be.
Organized religion.
Yeah.
Is a scary thing because you've got a good idea. Organized religion is a good idea, I will say. It is then corrupted by men, and it is corrupted by and women.
Yeah.
This is not just old man. This is, and by women, agenda, because they will read a passage in the Bible and they will perceive it and they will twist it to mean and apply to what they want it to be. Just like in Footloose. That's a really good explanation. He used scripture to say why they were going to ban dancing, why they needed to ban this. But in that same exact book, Ren brings up singing and dancing, this and that. It's in there too.
Yeah.
So it's all, you read that book, and you can go, it's actually, there's books you can get, and it's just like a psalm a day or so, whatever, and you can just open the book and you can read something and you can apply it to your life and see, oh wow, this actually applies to something that I'm going through right now. I promise you, if you did that, you would make sense and it would apply to you.
Yeah.
And it's the same way almost, I put it on the level of tarot cards and things like that.
I was about to say, like, because astrology.
Yes, because you can sit there and you can look at this and you can get a generalized, oh, the sun usually means this, this, and this. And the three swords like this with the one, oh, the hanging man means this. It means you're indecisive about something. And you start to in your head and apply that to your life. Yep. That is what religion is meant to be. Mm-hmm. A nice guide for you to be able to fall back on and have something, a reassurance in yourself. And what's really funny is when people hear meditation, do you think religion or do you think anti-religion? Meditation. The word meditating.
Meditating?
And stuff like that. Do you think of God and the Bible and Jesus when you think of meditating?
No.
No. But here's what's funny. It's actually written, and it's actually kind of not a commandment, but recommended by Jesus, that you take daily and meditate. Take and meditate. Take time for you. Go in a closet. Go somewhere alone. Be away from the world and meditate and get right with your mind. Yeah. Go through your thoughts. This is a Jesus thing. But see, these things don't really ever get brought out because people are, these guys that lead these churches go to a school, and at those schools, who's teaching? Who's teaching? Older, usually white men, for the most part, are teaching them, and they're putting their ideas into them and telling them what this stuff means. If you want to get a degree in this, you have to say, this is what this means. This scripture means this.
As you don't get your own idea. That, as an 8 or 9-year-old being put into a weird classroom and being told that if I didn't accept Jesus into my life, into my heart, I was going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And sitting there and wondering as a 7 to 10-year-old, how the hell am I supposed to know if I've accepted Jesus into my heart?
Yep.
I can say it and be like, yes, this is how it is.
Right.
But I don't feel any different.
Right.
I was terrified to die. I was terrified for my friends.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. And that's not how that should be.
No.
You know, it should be one of those things where it's like something that I can, or people, when they describe it, they're like, oh, I can fall back and think. Like, I always think of everything happens for a reason.
Yes. That
is something that comforts me. Whenever things get really hard, I go, this is something that's happening for a reason.
Yes.
Or, like, again, I'm not someone who practices faith, but the part where it's like, Jesus gives you trials because he knows you can handle them.
Yep.
That also always comes into my mind.
Yeah.
And it's not something where it's like, yeah, I believe in this, but it's like, it's a comfort thing,
yes.
almost, not where it's like, I can do this. Life is giving me this. Life is giving me lemons.
Yep.
And I'm going to make the best damn lemonade that I can with this, you know? Like, with school right now, it's incredibly hard. But I'm trying my best to adapt and do better. I've done a hell of a lot recently. I got a credit card. I got health insurance. I'm paying bills. I have a concert that's coming up. I got a new computer. I have my books. I'm organized. I made friends at college. I'm doing good for myself. You know, there's a lot going on underneath, but my long-term plan, looking good. It's on track.
Yeah.
But it's stressful.
And then, so that stress, and I'm not selling on you, where religion comes into that, is that when you're having that stress, to have it to fall back on your religion as to say, am I doing good? Is this where it should be? And then you can read some of these Psalms, some of these stories and stuff like that, and you can be reassured. It's a reassurance. Yeah. And that's what it should be. That's what people get caught up in, the God and the this and the that and the man. Let all that stuff go. You find what your religion is to you, because religion is very personal, and what religion is to you is not the same that it's going to be to me, and it's not going to be to the same that it's going to be to mom or to other people. There are old people, and they want that fire and brimstone, hell on earth, you better do this, repent, God's coming back. When he does, they want that stuff, man. They need that stuff.
That kind of stuff, and like the that movie 2021.
Yeah.
That movie scares the God out of me, you know? I sit there and I watch that movie, like, as a kid when I watched that, the year that 2021 came up, or 2012, sorry, not 2021.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
2012
about.
came up, I was in 5th grade, because I remember being in my math class, wondering what day it was going to fall on, that I was going to, like, am I going to be at school? Like, am I going to have to run around out in the street with the earth cracking open and wondering where my parents are?
And it's really funny because there was a time, and I don't know where, I think it was in Kansas. For some reason, the earth started cracking open and sulfur started coming out of the earth everywhere. And people thought that was it. People thought that was hell. People associated where's hell? Below you. What do we get told from the Bible that it smells like? Sulfur. What's coming out of the earth? Sulfur. And it's smoke, and you couldn't see, and it was like hell on earth. And these people thought that was it. They thought they were done. Do you know how many times people thought the world was going to end?
I feel that way whenever a sinkhole happens.
So, a what?
Sinkholes.
Yeah, sinkholes and stuff like that.
Scare the life out of me. Could you imagine your whole, like, does insurance cover that?
Yeah. But it all comes down to being your personal relationship with you. And to say that somebody's doing something wrong, like, there's a lot of people who say you can't be a Christian and be a witch. Not true. There's Christian witches all the time.
Yeah. It's feeling connected spiritually and also to the earth.
Who made earth?
Yeah.
God, you know, if you're saying that, God made the earth, if you're saying that, if you're respecting that, if you're respecting his spirit, it's all tied together. It's how you do it and what's good for you to make you a good person and to be a productive person in life and stuff like that, and make you feel good in your spirituality. And I don't understand why people can't see that. I mean, you don't have to go. I do not feel like I have to go every Sunday and sit in the building and sing the songs and listen to the stories. I never
understand how people understand the song, like how you just know them.
Yeah.
You've been here too long.
You know, yeah.
I gotta open up the little book every time and try to
I
find the page.
do enjoy, like, Pastor Scott and Pastor Brown, and going and listening to their story and them break down some of the stuff. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that because it was applicable. I could see how for that week I was going to be able to, like, and then like on a Thursday it would come up and be like, look at that. That makes sense to me. That's cool. Because they didn't try and shove it down your throat and this, that, and the other. They just are helping you help break down religion to be understood on a lower level. And I like that.
Yeah.
But
really
never
tried.
is it shoving down. These people that are out there standing in front of abortion clinics with signs telling people they're going to go to hell, telling people that they're a murderer and stuff like that. You know what? Regardless of what my opinion is, regardless of what I think, that's not religion. That you don't need to go and stand and do that.
Shaming someone else, and your whole thing is that God sits there and he died for your sins. Then he's done, like,
Jesus died for your
sins. Sorry, I get confused. Don't understand the whole thing.
They're all the same person.
That's what. And so why does the name matter? I mean, come on. Anyways, sorry. Jesus died for your sins. You know, if you sit there and your whole thing is that when you die and you go up to heaven, he's gonna forgive you. That is literally what they told us. They said, no matter what you've done now, no matter whatever, as long as you have him in your heart and you understand everything, he will forgive you. Why can someone not go and get an abortion and still in their heart believe that they could be forgiven?
Yep.
That's got to be hard enough already. I'm going to be honest. It would be an incredibly difficult situation if for some reason I got pregnant to sit there and think, because I want kids. Later on in life, and especially if I go and I have something done and it messes with that.
Right.
But like later on in life, if I had an abortion and I go to have another kid, I'm going to feel guilty.
Yeah.
I'm going to think, what happened to the other possible life that I could have given? And whatever. But I'm going to know that I would not have given that person a good life.
Right.
I was not, like now, especially now, I've just sat here and told everyone, guys, I'm having a really hard time at school and my room and in work. There was no way in hell I could afford a child.
Right.
Where would we put that?
Right.
Where would I would literally be in the worst situation ever. Right. That would be horrible. But sitting there and having where like the idea that if I later on in life and I go and I have a kid, I would be sad. I would be sad that I lost, something. But I mean, because I understand, the argument between it's just cells versus, it's a life. But it like at certain stages of development, it is something different, but it's still something.
Yes.
And it's something that can turn into something more.
Right.
And that is the part that would hurt me to get, because it's like, I believe butterfly effect. Mm-hmm. I believe that we are all energy because I believe in ghosts and such. I believe that literally when we die, we have just our energy that goes back into the earth. I believe that we go back to the plants. We feed all, we give, some people just have stronger energies and then linger a little longer. I believe that we just go back into the earth and we reuse, renew, recycle. And I don't like thinking about death because I don't like the idea that the lights just turn off and you just stop. And that is existing because it makes me have panic attacks.
Right, me too.
And it's scary. I don't want to be scared of death. When I die, I would like it to be that I'm old enough and just complete. Like I've lived a life that I loved, that I got to live, and it was great. I've affected lives. I've affected my own life. I've had everything I wanted to do, for the most part, done. And that's it. And I can just go. Because then I would feel like a book. I'd feel complete. It'd be really sad to have my life cut off short by, being paralyzed.
Yeah.
That's not living for me.
Mm-mm.
I would rather, I know that for some people, they can still enjoy life and be happy. But, those stories where you have someone who was really athletic, and then they got paralyzed, that's not,
no, I get
you've taken that person's life away from them. They may still be alive, but you've really taken everything that made that person who they were away. Right. And that scares me. But the idea that if I go to marry someone who I love and they tell me, yeah, this is my faith, and then if that person then told me that because I don't share that same faith, they didn't want to be with me, or their family wouldn't let them be with me, what do I do?
Yeah, it sucks.
You know, and it's incredibly stressful. I mean, especially nowadays, having so many different types of people, having people be who they want to be, like, literally, it's their life. People are figuring out stuff that has been seen for over the past. It's not like magically it happened in Gen Z, you know? It's stuff that happens in people, like, you can see it in books, you can see it in movies, you can see it in history, where you had, the presidents doing things, you know? And where people suddenly now are like, this is, you know, what is this? What? You know, and it's like, bro, it's been happening for years. Literally hundreds of years. And just because you have now a generation where they were like, yeah, I don't want to be put underneath your weird views. I want to be what I want to be. Because I have so many other people who understand what I'm going through and understand my feelings and thoughts on it. I'm not alone. You know, you can't tell me that it's all in my head when it's literally, here's all these other cases. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, people who accept people who have, like, DID, multiple personality disorders, people who will look at that and be like, yeah, okay, I accept that, but won't accept someone who feels like their body isn't their own. Like, sometimes I sit here, like, if I am by myself, and it's like, I'm with my thoughts, or sometimes when I see myself in pictures, I'm like, that's not me. Or I feel like my body, like, I'm not actually in control of myself. And, like, sometimes at work, it scares the hell out of me, because I'll just zone out and I'll be doing the job. I'll come back and I'll be like, who was doing that, you know? But, like, I struggle a lot with seeing photos of myself. Because in my mind, or, like, sometimes, like, in mirrors and reflections, I know what I look like. And, like, pictures will be taken, and I'll see that, and I'm like, literally, who is that? Like, we have similar features, but you look completely different to how I look. And it scares me. It scares me. It stresses me out, and it makes me anxious. And sometimes it gets really bad, where I'm in my room, and I'm just like when I went to go see my friends in Iowa, the idea of that happening was such an abstract possibility, and then being there, I was sitting next to my friend, and it was really late at night, and I literally started to panic. And I was like, is this real? Like, is this actually, like, something that is happening to me at this moment? Like, am I actually here? Like, who am I? And then it goes into the same thought of, like, why do I exist? And it gets really, like, I get paranoid, I get stressed out, and it's horrible. But there's people who go through that as well. There's terms for it. There are literally diagnoses for stuff like that that people go through, they get treated for it, and it's like, knowing that makes me feel better.
Right.
And it's knowing that someone else is going through what I'm going through that makes it feel real, that makes it feel like an actual thing that can be solved.
Yeah.
You know? And thinking about, like, people being stuck in their ways with religion and faith and sitting there and not being able to, like, it scares me more with men, but, like, it saddens me with women. Because it's like, how do you not put yourself in somebody else's shoes?
Yeah.
Like, if you were this little girl who had no other choice, I mean, if you're this grown woman and you have no other choice,
Right.
you know, and this happens to you, you're really going to go home to your husband and have that baby and raise it yourself?
Right.
You'd be okay with that? Or you're going to treat that kid like your own?
Because so it's not the kid's fault that he's a constant reminder.
The kid's fault.
He's a constant reminder of.
But if that kid looks like that person, looks like them, sounds like them,
right,
grows up, you know, same kind of whatever, you are gonna have moms with their kids sometimes. Like, he doesn't know nothing else. They just don't have that connection.
Right.
The post-mortem or whatever and everything.
Yeah,
and
postpartum.
And it's like, bro. You know, how is that my fault? And it's not. And it's incredibly sad, especially if that kid then finds out that he wasn't wanted, that this is his result. who's my real dad, you know, and everything. And why does my family always treat me like I'm not theirs, you know, or why I don't belong? Why don't I look like my dad? Why is this whatever? Like, and having where both sides of the family don't like you, where you have Christmas and you're talking about God and religion and blah, 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 and your siblings, if you have them, are getting treated way better. Cinderella, you know? But instead, you're the result of something dramatic. How is that fair to you?
Right.
Is that a life that you would be happy living? You've set this kid up now where he is going to have his own trauma, where maybe he'll go up and he'll grow up and he won't have parental figures and that have guided him to have when he has his own kids, that maybe he treats his kids like garbage too, because he doesn't know any better. And because he thinks that's the norm. And that's how you get people who beat their wives.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that comes up. I don't want to go too far. They, what I call, what is that word? Oh, I can't think of the word. When something's for you, it's not easy, but it's, starts with a P. Whatever. I can't think of the word. But when it's
not easy, it's...
I can't think of the word. It's not perception, but when it makes it for you, basically, in my house...
Perspective?
No. My wife listens to me. We go to church every Sunday, and my children dress like this, and they do this, and they'll never date outside of their race, and they'll never marry anything but, you know, a man, and they're never whatever. However, I beat my wife when she gets out of line.
Yeah. That's why I loved my history teacher, because he made that same thing. He said that same thing to us. He's like, oh yeah, I go to my job and I have the big house and the good car and the good dogs that sit on the front, they bark, and I have the good kids who get straight A's and my wife. But I beat her.
Right.
And it's like, bro,
yeah.
You know? Oh, God, I loved him.
But
it's the same thing. And along the lines of having where and that's what's stressful for a lot of, like, my generation growing up now, especially again with all, like, the different types of love and feelings and being yourself and everything like that. What is stressful for people who grew up with, you have, like, movies, books, normal everyday stuff that has trained you to be like, yeah, love is, man and woman. Love is that I won't be happy unless my fairy tale prince comes for me and saves me from my horrible life. And it's scary to think, like, because it's hard to imagine, like, being in a relationship with another female. Because it's not something that, like, because I can think about being with a dude, because it's, like, the butterflies and the holding the hands and going on dates, because that's what movies and everything romanticizes. But it's, like, not having any idea what that looks like with another person of my same gender, someone of the whatever, a different race. Because it's, like, here, like, in movies as well, you have white people. Most of the time you have, I mean, not like, it's not so much anymore where they're definitely trying to introduce more concepts into the life and everything. But like Disney movies, I mean, literally like any of those, Disney princesses you have where you're looking and like, this is where your partners should look like. Or having where people are telling you where like, if I went and I marry someone of the that looks or of a different culture or a different skin tone, and I go and I have kids with them, my kids are going to come out wrong. Being told that. And it's like, why is that acceptable? Why is it that why I have to be afraid of who I like trying to like tell myself mentally, like going through school and having hormones and everything and trying to be like, don't like this person because they're not even an option.
Yeah. Funny, and it's on the topic, I mean, and coming from a white guy, we saw, interracial couples, children, like when they, I don't want to say when they first, but were becoming more more prominent when I was a kid. Like, there were more interracial couples that their kids were my age. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So the offspring of interracial couples were starting to come around when I was a kid. And I just remember how genetics could go really good or really bad for the kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not dogging on anybody, but I'm saying, like, I mean, I had a friend, and like he had a white mom, black dad, and his skin was mad crazy blotchy all over the place. Like, he didn't have any rhyme or reason. His hair was really off. Like, for him, like, it was an issue. Like, and I was just like, wow, that seems like something that the parents should have thought about before, whatever. And that's coming from a kid's point of view.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, why would you knowingly put a kid into this situation? Like the lady who has no arms.
Yeah.
And she just has legs, and she had a kid knowing that genetic defect is in her line, and sure as anything, that kid, you see him on TV, that kid was born with no arms.
Yeah.
In the same exact way with just legs. And can he function? Can he live and all of that? Yes. But as a person, as an adult, as a consenting adult, knowing these choices, do you want to set somebody into the world with the things already against them? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. With the genetics part of it,
yeah,
that I feel like can go with anyone. You see that all the time with people with Downs.
Right.
You see that with people, things you control. I think a lot of it falls on taking the best you can of yourself while you're pregnant, meds or the nutrients and all of that. A lot of that falls on that. But I mean, is it also then wrong to be like, you are then not allowed to reproduce,
right?
Because you don't have a choice because you are a certain way. You know? And that doesn't seem fair.
No.
If you find someone who loves you for you, and you're like, yeah, I've gone through all these problems, but this person wants to have a kid with me, I want to have a kid, I've already gone through life so hard, and your kid comes out the same as you, I mean, that's the same being like, well, maybe now the world will have a second chance. You know, maybe it'll go different for my kid. You can only hope the best for your kid. And there are good people out there who will be like, yeah, hey, what's up, kid? You know?
There are good people out there.
But and I know it's like there's so much bad in the world, but that's such a horrible outlook to immediately look onto your kid. You know, where you're like, yeah, because you could look at that at us. I have had some horrible experiences in school. Yeah. I've had where people have changed how I view myself. I have horrible body image problems. I have horrible anger issues. I have like horrible just mental illness. And you're going to get that no matter what. I've had where I judge people because of school. I've had where I believe that you should not show your interest in public because it's frowned upon. Because if I went to school with like a My Chemical Romance shirt on,
right,
people are going to judge me.
Right.
They're going to default me to under certain, like, emo. You're emo.
Yeah.
I know you like My Chemical Romance. Like, it's like, bro, just because I don't like Justin Bieber, you know, you're going to judge me.
Right.
But we did. Where you're like, if you come to school and you have bright blue hair, what's wrong with you? Yeah. And like, and I feel like a bad person, like talking to my younger sibling and being like, why would you dye your hair like this? And then go to school. You're going to get made fun of.
Right.
And what a terrible thing to say to someone, you know? But it's that same mentality of like, if you go and you have a kid and you know your kid's going to have this genetic problem, as a parent, it is then your job to prepare them for that. And then try and teach your children that there are just right and wrong people.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, you want to protect your children, especially from being hurt.
Yeah.
And when they're doing things and making choices and acting certain ways and doing this stuff that you know is going to be easy target and easy this and easy that, and people are gonna, and I think asshole kids, I'm gonna say asshole kids are gonna come right for you, and that person is already at a point of sensitivity and also has other things.
Yeah, expecting it to go one way and it going completely the opposite way. And it, from my point of view, because me being that kid who would seek out those kids because I wanted to fit in and be like, what is wrong with you? You know, why are you like this?
Right.
Having a younger sibling be that kid is hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to express to you that if you do this, if this is your choice, it's going to be hard for you to make friends.
Yeah.
You can make friends. You'll probably make really great friends.
Friends you make will be awesome.
Because they'll be great. They'll understand you. They'll trust you. They'll love you. You'll have great friends.
Right.
But if you do this, it's going to be really difficult from here on out. Because you'll be known as this kid.
Right.
You go and you start your year off like this. And you're going to be known. We had a kid who wore a dog tail to school. And had where he would wear ears, he would wear all kinds of stuff, and he had anger issues, and he would lash out, and we made fun of him.
Yeah.
He's not a good person. He's done a lot of horrible things. So, and sometimes people are like, oh, well, he deserves it. But at the same time, it's like, bro, just go along with your day.
Yeah.
You know? It's so... There are things that I regret doing in middle school and high school, and now, like, in, like, my junior, like, sophomore, like, late sophomore and junior high school year, I realized I was like, man, people just have their own lives.
Right.
Like, I just don't care enough. You know, realizing that there are people, like, your friends just suck.
Yeah.
And they're not cool people, and you're not as cool as you think, you're not hot, you're not cool, like, it changed a lot of my perspective, but to be that kid who is different. Stargirl was a book that was assigned to my class in 7th grade. And I think it affected me so much because it, like, relating it to my younger sibling. And being like, this is literally, you know, you. And having where that girl came to school and she wanted things to be different, and she was different, and she was bright, and she was colorful, and she was excited, and she got the whole school excited, and then the whole thing was like she cheered for the other school's team. She wanted the other school's team to win too. And that, they hated that. And they immediately flipped on her, changed sides, made her depressed, made her feel like she had to be a certain way, and she left.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have just altered this whole person's life. And I think about that with The Little Prince.
Yeah.
Where I say that if I grow up and I live in one of those neighborhoods where every house looks like the same house and every street looks like the same street, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I want to have where my house is that house on the block that you look at and it's so different. And you're like, that looks like an awesome place to live. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you, you know? And how she had to be reminded of her childhood, and she was like 10 in that movie, you know, not less, where her mom had planned out her whole life on this board, and everything was great, and then she met this dude who was like, nah, here's this story about this little, like, prince dude who he's, like, going through the same thing, but he's awesome, and you're awesome, and you can do this too. And that changed that whole little girl's life, and that old man, he died. That movie makes me cry every time. But, like, that whole theme, that whole idea is such an untouched subject. And I feel like it affects the people who it should the most. And, like how Stargirl really... Fahrenheit 451, that book really affected me. That book, and having where he met this little girl that, like, very early on in the chapter, who was all like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 and then she, like, liked reading. Told him she liked reading. He didn't say anything to her. Just ignored her. And she died. And then he struggled with that so hard and couldn't say anything about it, but you were reading it in the pages and read his silent pain and agony, and I felt that so, like, that was real. I was like, oh my god, that book is crazy. I love that book. God. And it is certain people, I feel like it's the people like that who can see stuff and really feel things and see everyone's point of view and see the bigger puzzle piece picture and go, this is the root of my issue. This is the root of the issue. Let's fix it. You know, let's accept instead of trying to change. You know, a lot of that is where I had to sit there and be like, if you want to wear this, if you want to wear cheetah pants and cheetah print to school, and that's what you want to draw, like, even though that is disgusting, cheetah print shouldn't go with anything that is so out of style. It's disgusting. But if that's what you want to do, absolutely, I support you. Having the thought of, like, I saw a video where this girl was, like, really upset because her dad was upset about the fact that he was bigger. And that he was like, I feel like you're embarrassed of me, you know, kind of stuff. Like, that stuff makes me incredibly sad. Because it's like, you know, you're born into a family, and that's what always kills me. You're born into a family, and everyone in your family looks different. And, like, your parents could be overweight, and you could be, like, super, like, this sporty dude, super, whatever. You could have siblings who are whatever they look like, whatever. And you can go through, and if you decide, like, yeah, that's my family, and I love my family, but you still want the supermodel girlfriend, there's something wrong with you. You're the problem there. There are unrealistic standards in life. There's unrealistic standards for men, you know, unrealistic standards for women. It's both sides. There's unrealistic standards for people. And it's harder on children now who have to grow up and think like they feel like they have to think a certain way. And you have more kids now with media being the way it is, where some of it's like really good messages, like Adventure Time. That show, oh my god, that show. Or like, for me, a big one was BoJack Horseman.
Right, you brought him up before.
Those, like, the first 2 seasons of that show, I could relate to really heavily in all the worst ways possible, you know? And I cannot relate to the 3rd season because it's where he's way later in his life and he dies, you know, at the end of it. And it's all about, you know, being accepting with death, like, are you ready, like, and everything for it? And I can't relate to it yet because I'm not there in life.
Right. And
I watched that season and I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand some of these topics. But when I'm older and I go through and I rewatch all of it, I will. I don't think I'll ever be ready to rewatch the first 2 seasons because that destroyed me for like several months. But you, like, there are certain movies that we watch, that shows that we watch, that it can be so affecting. And it's like, I wish I could get you to see how I see it, you know? And it's like, I could sit here and trying to put you into my own shoes and explain to you how things would feel by the best way that I can. But it's all on you to really feel like, yeah, okay, I accept this, you know? Like, I accept that you can feel this way and that this is a true way to be. Feeling like you don't belong anywhere. Feeling like you don't have to be any side. Feeling like you can be in all sides. You know, it doesn't matter. It is how you as a person feel like you are, having the option to change that, you know?
Right.
Because you're growing up. People develop, like, men develop until they're like 25. Women, like even later, you know, whatever it is, women until like 23, you know, their brain develops, you develop. You still learn every day.
Yeah.
You learn from people around you. You learn from the things you see. You learn from the things you touch. You learn. And it's your choice as a person to decide what you want to do with that information. And I think that that's what it comes down to. There's no good or bad people, you know? You can look at me, and you can see what I've said about how I treated people in middle school and in high school. And if I stayed that way, I would just simply be a bad person.
Yeah.
But I decided that I did not want to be viewed like that, and that I wanted to be better, and that I wanted to be a better person for my sibling. I wanted to be a better person for my friends. I wanted to be a better person for myself. And I changed. And I changed to the most that I could have. You know, I still have, like I've said, issues where I struggle with being over to emotional or lashing out, and because I don't have the correct way in my mind of how to handle certain feelings and emotions, but I'm working on it. I'm working on getting set up with things and doing things, and that is the point that matters. That's the part that matters, is willing to change part.
Yeah.
And like for a long time, I still kind of feel like it. Like I feel like people can't fully 100% change. I feel like you always are who you are because of a lot of nurture, nature, whatever. I feel like again, I'm not who I am and was in middle school, and to feel like people, like sometimes people make me feel like that really hurts. But like people's natural instincts, what you grew up thinking versus like intrusive thoughts, pretty much, think like I believe, like, and John Mulaney even made a quote. I love John Mulaney, but you know who that is? Okay. And he made a quote. I was watching this video actually, and it was like astrology signs as John Mulaney quotes. And if you ever like people, my friendships, if you ever get to know me, we come across conversations of like death and the beyond and all that. But one of my favorite thoughts and theories is that when we die, we get a book of the things everyone has ever thought of us or said or whatever. Anything your name has been brought up into, like, whatever. And it's a book, and you can go through it, you can read it, and you can see how you are as a person through the eyes of somebody else. And so now, if I have a certain thoughts about people, like that I see in person, or like people I don't know, whatever, and my first thought is something negative, I try to follow up with something positive. I try to be like, maybe this color, like, like, if I see someone, I'm like, oh, that's such an ugly color. Like, well, you kind of make it work, though. So if they go through and they see their book and they see that one thought and they wonder what their shirt was or whatever, they can be like, well, at least I made it work, And so, but John Mulaney, it was coming up, and I'm a Pisces, and it was coming up, and it said Pisces, and he literally said, he's like, when we die, I like to think that we all get a book of things that everyone has said about us. And I paused the video and I said, whoa, someone else has had this thought. Someone is, and like being categorized as it, and I was like, this is crazy. But it was such a cool thought. Like, it was like, if you think like that, if everyone thought like that and was like, every time I think something negative, I then have to follow it up with something positive, life would be better.
I try, for instance, when it's...
I feel like this has turned into the, deeper meaning podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? when it's elderly, I think about my parents. And I think if this lady right here, right now, was my mom down dealing with somebody else, how would I want them to be taken care of? Like because that happens. These, older lady comes in, she's sitting there, something's not right. She doesn't understand what's going on with the medications. She's getting told one thing she doesn't know. She really needs to have this med. And I stop and I think, if this is my mom, what would I want them to do? And I do. And I'll say, you know what? Let's walk down here. Let's look into it. Let's see what we can do. Let's get you taken care of and get your, at least have an answer, at least something that can be explained out so that they can understand. So that she's not just walking out the front door and not understanding why, not knowing what's going on, not having a medication that she really needs to have.
Oh my God. That was just really funny. It was really elongated.
Nice. And I really have tried that, when it's we have a lot of people that are addicts.
Yeah.
And
I know you talked about that.
They come in on certain day and I try to put myself in the situation of saying, this person's an addict and they're trying to get their stuff together, or they're on the edge of not having their stuff together. If they don't have this medication tonight, what are they possibly going to do? And so it's important to me to get those people help. It's important when somebody comes in at 5 minutes till and they just came from the urgent care and they're like, yeah, my kid's sick and they called it over here. And it's like, bruh,
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to get their amoxicillin stuff mixed up for them. I got to get their kid because I would want somebody to do that for you. I think about you. We get college kids in who have been used to having their parents do stuff for them their whole life. And now they come in and they're like, I don't know what to do, or that's really expensive, or, you know, or something like that. I hope that somebody would take the time to try and help them out. And say, hey, you know, this, I mean, I did it with a kid the other day. I got, you know, he was going to pay $140 for something. And I was like, hold up, dude. And I took the extra 10 minutes to go run it through a good RX card and stuff like that. I took it down to like 90. It's still 90. Yeah. That's $50 I just saved this kid. Yeah. You know, and he was like, oh man, that was really, you know, I'm trying to think that way with things. Mm-hmm. And
perspective
I'm really trying to have it. I'm really at this phase at my age and stuff like that, and trying to be more aware. Yeah. And to do that. I really am.
Same thing, same concept with like the old ladies and explaining things there, sitting there, and if I like with my having like how I feel about not being in control of my body sometimes, that can be confusing to people who don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But sitting there and be able to break it down to you like X, Y, and Z, like a math problem, and explaining it and being like, this is something that I'm really feeling. You know, if you view me as a person and my feelings are important, you know, and you understand, take the time to learn, you know, take the time to really hear what I'm saying and understand and feel like, okay, if you're really feeling this, it's real. This is a real thing, you know? Like, little old ladies who don't understand what's going on, you sit there and it's the same concept, trying to explain a medicine to them, and they're like, I don't know what this is. I got no idea. You know, you sit there, it's the same thing. I mean, it's harder, like, I was gonna be like, I can't really, you know, I have where old people come in, and usually they're old white men who treat me like garbage.
Right.
But like, sometimes I'll get, like, really good customers who come in. Like, I had a lady, like, sit me down and talk to me for, like, 40 minutes about how she hates men. But she was, like, really old. And she was like, trust me. She's like, when you're young and beautiful, like, Sam's grandmother? Oh, God, I don't know if I ever told you this. Sam's grandma came in because she would drop him off gas money. Because Sam's he's my age. He's a college kid. And he comes and he works the summers. And his grandma came and she would drop him college or like gas money because she's a little old rich grandma. But I came outside once when I was following him outside when she pulled up behind him, and she's like, wow, Sam, you got some real lookers here. And she had complimented the hell out of me, and she was like, you're gorgeous. You're like, why are you working here? She's like, you're just too pretty to be here. And she, like, that little old lady, I was like, are you looking for a spouse? Like, I mean, you want to take care of me? Like, I'll let you take care of me. You know, I'll paint your nails, you know. We can have, you know, girl time. We'll have fun, you know. Yeah. Buy me gas. But I was like, this little old lady is, like, the best. But I have some old hags that come in sometimes and are just the worst. They throw the money at me, yes. You know, and I'm like, girl, you know how that feels. You were treated as garbage, and now you get to treat me like garbage. Right. What is this, like a initiation thing? Leave me alone, you know. It's like, but I do enjoy the people that I get to meet with my job most of the time. I mean, I see all kinds of types. I've been trying to put like when people call and they're nice, I like, you know, let me help you out with this deal. I had like these college kids, I'm pretty sure, calling me, like boys called me today, and they were in this apartment that one of them owned, and they were like, they didn't know where they lived. They were like, I don't know if it's a court or circle or road, and it didn't matter. I didn't know if it mattered, so I was sitting there like, oh, hold on, let me ask. But they, like, for like 10 minutes we were on just the address line. Because they were like, wait, how do you know his number? And I'm like, oh, he's in the system. Oh, okay. It's because then I was like, well, I can look up your number. He's like, no, I'm not in the system. And then we were going through, and they were like, yeah, I only have $12. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go through this. And I was like, we went through, and I tried to find cheaper options and like whatever. And they were like, oh, I found another $6. I was like, yeah, let's go, 16. And then it was like, we were sitting there trying to find more, and Like, and then I was like, well, if you guys can pick it up, you can both get, like, the small deal for, like, $6 each. That's $12. You're good. And, you know, and that was enjoyable. I had a good experience. That was fun. You know, it was fun to talk to these people and that my same age struggling with their money and being excited about, like, found $6 more. But I have where people come in and, like, this guy came in that same day, and was really crappy because the website told him that we didn't have any delivery drivers, and they had to come pick it up. We had delivery drivers. You know, we had people. And so we were like, I don't know why I told you that, but they were crappy towards us for no reason.
Right.
We're not the website, bro. We didn't send that message to you.
We're not the website, and sorry. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, don't order. You know, it's like, but a lot of it's, I try to put myself in the perspective of other people, especially having a younger sibling who went through the phase of I want to be who I am, and like wearing the random stuff to school and dealing with it, coming home and being sad that they got bullied, and me being like, well, I told you so, you know, type stuff. And it's like, but I wish I could have done that, you know? And it's like, I wish I had the confidence in myself to be able to wear what I wanted to wear. There's stuff I want to wear now that I still don't want to wear, because I'm like, I don't like how I look in this.
Yeah.
Or I don't like how this feels on me, and I don't like X, Y, and Z. And if I wear stuff like that anyways, I get all body weird. And I get where I'm like, I don't feel like myself. I feel weird in pictures. You know, I see myself whatever. But like, if I'm happy, I feel better about myself. You know, when we went teacher clothes shopping, I was excited to do that. So when I was trying on the clothes, I felt really good about myself. I was like, hell yeah, I look great in this. I'm gonna be a cool little teacher. You know, my little skirt and everything. And it's like, cool. And then like normal shopping, if I go shopping with, like, prom shopping was the worst. Like that was hard. Doing it with certain people, like not everyone, but like certain people in the group, like, seeing you then stress about how you're gonna find the right size for yourself, and it's like, bro, this whole store is your size. You know, I had to really go to like 4 different stores and wonder that if I was gonna have to pay an extra $300 because more material, right. You know? And none of that's my fault, you know? No. And it's like, people are just built different.
Right.
And what works for you can work for you, but it's not gonna work for me. I've been really good about drinking water lately. I feel a lot better. I feel more energized in the morning because I've been drinking just water. I cut a lot of, I don't drink much soda at all because I got my scare with the cherry Dr. Pepper that tastes terrible now.
Right.
Because I drank all of that because I fixated on it. But now I got, the good water, and I'm drinking the water all the time. I'm refilling. I'm drinking my whole thing a day. And I feel good. And I've been happy. I'm spending time with my friends that I want to spend time with. I am stressed about school, and I'm stressed about the fact I don't have my own space. And I'm really pushing to have that desk, because that desk would solve all my problems immediately. But I cope, and I adapt, and I manage. I have worries about the podcast, because time, obviously.
I know.
I feel bad coming home and being like, God, I really don't want to do this.
I know.
Because I just got off, 12 to 8 shift. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to come in and sit down and be all like poop butt. Because it takes me a while to get my energy back up, know, and especially if I've had a really bad day. But I listened to that podcast this week. I caught up because it's been a month or two so I'd listened. But I sat down and I listened while I was at work the other day, and that was my entire shift. I listened to that, and I was like, God, this sounds so fun to sit here and have these conversations like they do, and just talk, because they literally just talk, and they make jokes, and they talk about their stories about growing up and experiences and what they do now and how things are weird, because you can have YouTubers who have this more people are more excited to see this YouTuber than they are a celebrity. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like, whoa, this basic white person, white dude or something, and it's like, whoa, everyone, and it's just funny to me. It's crazy to think that those same people are why I have so many friends who have the same entrance group. The fact that we've kind of separated from that, and now these are just friends. And it's cool to think having people that spawned from stuff that are just so cool and like belonging somewhere, like that feeling. And just, I'm right now in my life, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with the progress. I wish I had more money, you know.
Sure.
I really feel that, and like, because I hate the idea of feeling limited in what I can and cannot purchase, because I like getting random stuff in the mail. I like buying things and forgetting that I bought it, and then when they arrive, I get really excited because I like opening things.
Yeah.
And I hate surprises, so I'd like to know an idea of what it could be. But I enjoy opening. Like, I've been getting those, like, the random crystals in a bag.
Yeah.
I have one more coming, so there's gonna be one more and then I'm done. Because they're really cheap. So they're like $5 or like $3 and that's it. But like the shipping's what gets you.
Nice.
But I have one more and then I'm done. But I like unboxing and finding out, like, oh, inside, there it is. Like, oh, cool. And like going through and looking through all of it, and it makes me really happy. And I don't like the idea that I have to sit and worry about, can I afford to eat this week? Because 2 weeks ago I spent $30 on this, and now because I spent $30 on that, I didn't have $30 for gas, and I had to spend $20 for gas, or like the $30 for gas, and because I did that, now I don't have food money for this week.
Yeah.
And that is like, what? That is not living. It's like, this is terrifying. Like, I went and I bought cookies the other day. I bought cookies because I really want to make cookies and ice cream because the Chili's isn't open and I really want that. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy cookies and I'm going to go home and I'm going to do this and make this. And then today, that was the first thought that came to mind when I realized that I wouldn't have enough money for the desk. So I bought those damn cookies. So I went to Kroger because I bought the balloon thing. Because I love that. Because that was so much serotonin for me in one little setting. I love that dinosaur. But that was $10. And I don't regret buying it.
Right.
Because I was happy. I went and I showed Kara. And I was like, look at it. Because I literally drove to her house. And I was like, look what I just bought. Oh, he jumped around. And it was fun. But like, especially when it comes down to like hanging out with somebody. Like, when we did Kara's birthday and we went around and we went to other stores and I was like, okay, I'm limited on cash. I'm not spending a lot. And I still ended up spending more than I wanted to. And then going home and being like, that's all that I'm taking away from this day? That's not fair. You know, really sitting there and wondering, like, having to sit and literally, I like, wonder, like, I hate the idea that if I don't come downstairs at a certain point and you guys don't see that I'm awake, I miss an opportunity to get free food. Like, when you guys go out for food. Like, we both think, like, me and the other one think that too. Like, the idea that sometimes you guys are like, yeah, we'll buy for the kids, you know, when we go out to, because like buying food is expensive, you know, and there is food in the house.
Yes.
There's canned food, there's cereal, there's
sandwiches,
those options, but it's like
eggs.
It's like cereal for lunch or Ichiban. Ichiban sounds so good. This one thing sounds so good that I don't want to eat anything else. And that's what the mindset comes into. And it's like, man, like the other day I really wanted the breadsticks and the papadilla from work, but I was my day off. And I went downstairs and talked to Mom and I was like, what are you doing for dinner? And could it be this? And like, because it was almost where I was going to ask you to go get it for me after I got off work. But I was like, man, if he goes in, he's not going to want to do that. He's not going to want to go in there to pick it up for Carrie because I don't want to get it delivered because it's so much more. You don't get the discount and everything.
Yeah.
And because I get money. And like, he's not going to want to go in there and pick that up for me. You know, you're getting off work. That'd be the completely other direction kind of deal. And I was like, I'll just go pick it up myself. You know, I took a shower. I brushed all my hair out. I felt good after showering, and then I went and I picked it up and I said hi to everyone, and I left and I came home and I ate it. But I really wanted that. I didn't want anything else. I have pancake mix. Made pancakes like twice in a row, and I had that. I had it again, but it's so much like having to sit there and be like, yeah, this is what I want to eat. Planning time to make it it taking longer than expected to make it coming out wrong, it tasting bad. It can be mentally draining.
Yeah.
And sitting there and having where it's like, oh, well, we're going out for lunch. Because, like, sometimes it's like either I, get on that train of, I'll go spend $5 somewhere, or I eat a Pop-Tart for lunch before I go and work a 8-hour shift. And a lot of that is that, too. I wish my room was more organized as well for that as well. Because sometimes I have, like, goldfish. And that's like, right, like I've been eating, like when I have the college and it's right around that time where I would be waking up and eating, I have the goldfish and I'm eating and like snacking. I'm hungry. Like I'll text mom and be like, if you guys are doing lunch, please do it now so that I can have it before I have to go to class, like kind of thing, because I was sad that I had to go to the bio class knowing that I had the pulled pork sandwich at home. I thought that's the whole thing that's all I thought about while I was there. And, it was delicious when I got home. I was like, but, I mean, it's hard, like, wanting to buy, like, especially wanting to eat better for myself as well, and the options are limited. I've been eating so many grapes, and, like, apples and such, because, apples are such a good alternative, like, those little bags that we have. Because I go into the fridge and I open that up, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to get an apple. I'm just going to eat the apple, and then I'm done. Yeah. Because sometimes for me, it is just the action. Yeah. And not necessarily being like, yeah, I'm hungry. It's the one, I need that feeling of chewing. Yeah. And biting into something. And that's all it is for me. So sometimes the apple is really great, but then the apple hurts my teeth. And tomorrow I wake up with my mouth hurting and sore, So sometimes that's also what it is. Because for me, consistency is hard. Like continuing on with schedules and planning. And I'm hoping to get better about that with college, because I'm really, really I have to with that. Otherwise I will fail my classes. Right. I'm paying for them. But I'm trying to be better with scheduling, but a lot of that as well, like, again, with the whole, I'm working, and the days I have off, I'm trying to do school, and I'm trying to do personal things, just have a day off, and it's like, again, with the podcast, it comes back around, it's like, I don't want to be like, not this week, because sometimes it's the idea of, like, yeah, I don't want to do this, like, not today, or whatever, and then we end up doing it anyways. And I'm like, yeah, I had a good time with that, But it's draining. Yeah. Like, coming from work, I haven't didn't eat anything. I had a smoothie while I was at work, because Cody brought him in. He got a free one. Nice. Gave it to me, even though I was like, I don't want this because I don't have any money. So he's like, but I got a free. So he gave it to me. That's all I have had today. That smoothie. And I forgot to bring water to work. I was so sad. I opened up my bag and I didn't have any water, and I was like,
that sucks.
The hell am I supposed to do? So, yeah. But I probably, it's too late now where I will probably go upstairs and go to bed. Yeah. Like, really? I am just really tired, and I won't eat anything. But that smoothie is what I had. That and the quesadilla from Taco Bell, because I did go to Taco Bell. Yeah. But I have had... Where is that at? I hear him, but I don't know where he's at.
Weird.
That was so loud, but it didn't sound like... Yeah. It did. It sounded like the box that's underneath here, but I don't think
he's in the box.
But...
So... Alright. We better start the movie.
Yeah, we really should. That's the whole reason people are here.
Yeah. I feel like 61 episodes in, I think they enjoy the background too. I mean, I think the movie's what brings you, but I think that the whole conversation that we lead into it is usually pretty good. We have good conversations.
Yeah, because the movie, talking about the movie itself, like, I think we definitely, at first where it came from, where I had notes about every single scene. But, like, interjecting and interrupting, it's not who I am. Right. So sitting there and then being like, let's go back to this scene really fast, because I had a thought about the fact that he turned on the sink the wrong way. Huh. Yeah. Nah. Meh. Like, if I really have been affected by some part of the scene, I usually say that in the beginning of the,
Yeah,
beginning of our thing.
There's some parts here that's just too much, man. Yeah. So Jack Butler is an engineer at an automotive manufacturing plant in Detroit, Michigan. He lives in the suburbs with his wife, Carolyn, their 2 young sons, 7-year-old Alex and 5-year-old Kenny, and their 6-month-old infant daughter, Megan. Jack has a decent life and a decent home in the suburbs. However, Jack's job seems to be stressful for him. He and his co-workers, Larry, Stan, and supervisor Jinx Latham, whom he carpools with in the morning, all talk about their lack of sleep from the night before. When they drive in one morning, they talk about rumors of layoffs at the plant. Jinx tells them not to worry about losing their jobs. The rumors persist while Jack talks to the assembly line workers. And I liked how he was talking. He was trying to do that management thing. He's like, have you ever seen Rocky? Like, we went and saw Rocky. And he's like, he's up against the ropes. But even, he's like, did the guy have a mohawk? He's like, all right, just forget about Rocky.
Yeah. He's never seen Rocky.
He didn't see no Rocky.
Yeah, that was good.
So
I did enjoy that.
Jack is called into Jinx's office during the day and finds out that he and Larry and Stan are all been laid off. Jinx tells them that they'll be asked to come back at an undetermined time in the future. The guys are not convinced. At home, Jack talks to his wife about finding another job and also having some time off due to work on the house he'd been planning. When Carolyn, a former advertising expert, tells him she'd put her resume out on the job market as well, Jack suddenly becomes competitive, challenging her to a wager where the first of them to get a job will win $100. Sometime later, Carolyn wins the bet and goes to work for a prominent advertising firm called Richardson Frankel. Jack becomes a stay-at-home father and takes care of the kids, the errands, and the house during the day. Advertising firm is something that I really wanted to do when I was a kid. I find that would be like so exciting. And such? Yeah, man. Like doing advertising for, I think that would be so cool. All mine would be dark though. Like, I don't know that it would be completely not appropriate and stuff like that.
Chandler later on in Friends. Yeah, I mean, I think as someone, like, especially like Chandler, the funny guy, you think that would be a fun. And, like, I never, that kind of job, because I have guilty pleasure jobs that I think that, that'd be awesome to do. Like bartending.
It was.
I would want to be a bartender. I would. Yeah. So that, in my mind, hell yeah. But I don't want to memorize all the drinks and such.
Yeah, it's tough.
But, I feel like jingles and advertising, all that, it comes down to the big dude in charge. I feel like there's no freedom in it. You have where you need to stick to what the script is, kind of thing. Yeah. It's like acting, but less fun.
I got you.
Like, mass produced, but you're doing jingles that you have to create.
I don't know, like, like some of the commercials that come on and like it's just like crazy stuff going on and stuff like that, and I'm like, I feel like somebody made this commercial with me in mind.
Yeah, I feel like you would enjoy how they do it, like Lionsgate, on TikTok are taking clips and such out of movies and making fun of them. They're making fun of their own stuff, and people are eating it up because it's funny. They're editing it in a way, and they're like that, like social media platform producer, like somebody like that, like where you own a page and that's your job. I feel like you'd have fun with that. But sitting there and creating like new images for companies or trying to relate to the fellow customer kind of thing, I don't feel like you would enjoy that. I feel like an ideal, and I like in a bigger picture, I feel like it'd come down to where you would have an idea and you'd be like, this is it, this is the one. And it's gonna, like, someone's gonna reject it and be like, nope, nah, this is awful. And you're gonna hate that. You're gonna feel so bad about yourself, and you feel like, that was the one. What now? There was nothing better in your mind but that, and there's your career.
Oh, well, all right, then I don't want to do it.
There's jobs like that. I mean, jobs that revolve about stuff like that don't interest me. Yeah. Where it really is proposals and convincing someone, I feel like No. Gotcha. No. If my whole career revolves around whether or not you like me or you think I'm funny, or you think that this is a good, smart way to say something, or this is a good toy.
Yeah, not your deal.
That's horrible. I would live on edge. That's a living on edge job.
Gotcha. So Jack's first weeks at home are mostly a disaster. He discovers that the vacuum cleaner has a mind of its own and rampages around the house. He's inept at operating the washer and dryer. 3 repair people come in on one day and the baby eats chili. You fed the baby chili? And they all just like bolt. She ate the whole can. Jack also has trouble at the supermarket and his misunderstandings the procedure for dropping Alex off at school. The supermarket scene is really my favorite scene of the entire movie. When he's out there and he's trying to order the meat, and he's like, "You got your salami, bologna," and she's like, and he's like, "All right, tell me, how about this? Just give me a pound of cheese," and she's like, "Cheddar, American, Swiss, provolone. You have your entire family." And some lady in the background like, "Just order some cheddar, mister." And you're just like, she just like grabs him in the background. And like, he's like, "All right, can you go over the salamis again?" And everybody's like, "Oh." and then he's like, he looks down, he's like, looks at the kid and he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
he's like, "Brian." He's like, so he's just carrying him.
Sticks him with some other lady.
He gives him spaghetti. "Here, have some spaghetti." The kid just chucks it. And he's like, "Here, y'all take your kid, you take mine." He's like, "Oh, thanks. I don't have any kids." And that whole scene is just hilarious to me. Just because it's just funny. And then when he has to get the pads for his wife, and he's all, and he gets the box of them, made me laugh because my mom used to send me to the store to get her what she calls thingies. "Can you go get me some thingies?" And you saw how big that box was. The box is like this big, and I would ride my bike to go get it. So I'd be riding home holding this giant box on my bicycle handlebars, and I looked ridiculous. I looked ridiculous. And that's why that scene was always so funny to me, because I'm just like, I can relate to this poor guy. You know? But the whole supermarket scene is just funny. And then him dropping off in the morning, I'm not going the wrong way. They're going the wrong way. And I tell all my new mommies, south to drop off, north to pick up. And then we do the reverse.
That's no joke. When I got the internship with the whatever, they were like, "Yeah, you need to arrive and park in this parking lot." And my ass went in the wrong parking lot because we were supposed to go the day before to check it out, and we didn't because she got into the accident, my friend. And I went into the wrong parking lot the first time and had to turn around in front of all these moms who get there 40 minutes early because they want to be there 40 minutes early.
Right.
And all of them looked at me like sour. And I'm like, "Look here, lady. I'm going to be with your kid for the next 4 months. So, you know, you check yourself, okay?"
You don't want to give me this sour mouth.
I'm grading your kid's papers, you know?
Nice. But yeah, he has also drawn too much attention from one of the wife's more attractive friends, Joan, who is divorced.
I always hate that trope in movies like this, too.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You have to wear, "Oh, now you're home by yourself. You must cheat."
I know.
Like, bro.
As Carolyn's career takes off, she becomes an employee prized by her boss, Ron Richardson. At her first staff meeting, Carolyn looks over the firm's ideas for one of their flagship clients, Schooner Tuna. And though she is constructively critical, receives scornful remarks from the rest of the staff. They kind of just like bust ass laughing at her, basically. Carolyn's like, you want the truth? And he's like, "No, lie to us." Carolyn realizes that they are overworked, stressed out, and have little to no experience similar to hers with regard to food prices and shopping. A few months later, Jack has not been called back to his work at the auto factory, and there are no other jobs available in the line of work or similar field. Jack becomes increasingly depressed, wearing the same flannel shirt every day without washing it. He gains weight, lets his beard grow ungroomed, and drinks beer while watching soap operas. His attention to his kids even wanes a bit, which makes it more difficult for him to convince his younger son, Kenny, to give up his baby blanket he carries around for security, his wubby. One day, while watching a soap opera, Jack daydreams that Joan stops by. He begins to talk about his strained relationship with Carolyn. Joan takes off her raincoat and is dressed in a sexy lingerie, which I liked it because she's like, I'll be right there. And then there's not.
And there's, and then she's there.
I heard.
I thought it was like, what?
He's like, you sure did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got here as quick as I could.
I enjoyed that they had like a poker night. It was him and the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carolyn walks in and finds them. She pulls out a gun, affixes a silencer to it, and threatens Jack. A struggle ensues and Jack is shot. He dies as Ron Richard appears and walks off to Carolyn, and Jinx appears and says that the auto factory was going to call him back to work. Hey, guy, I also like they all just stop by and he's all...
He like wakes back up and then goes back. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just got sick face as it's happening and everything like that. It was great. Jack wakes up from his nightmare, cancels the weekly poker game with Joan, and decides to clean up his act. He gets the kids to follow a morning routine to get them off to school on time. He exercises with Carolyn's friends and loses the weight he'd put on, shaves off his beard, and he fixes up the house. At one point, we see him throwing his flannel shirt in the fireplace, a gesture meant to encourage Kenny to give up his security blanket. Kenny refuses, and Jack has a man-to-man talk and convinces his son to give up the blanket. So, it's kind of a sad little scene. Can I be alone for a minute? I do like that they had poker night and that they used coupons.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. At a party thrown by Richardson at his mansion, Jack is egged on by Richardson himself to compete in a race involving toys and other obstacles meant for children. Before the race, Jack, a fair sportsman himself, is persuaded by Richardson's subordinates to throw the race because his wife works for their host. Not wanting to jeopardize his wife's career, Jack stumbles just short of the finish line, preserving Richardson's dignity. I did like the little race things. I thought that was cool. So, just fun.
Maybe they get Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Carolyn's schedule keeps her away from home more frequently, which has an effect on Jack and the family. Carolyn also develops a new strategy for Schooner Tuna. She meets with the company's CEO and tells him that the only way to sell more of his product is to lower the price in light of the tougher economic times. The CEO goes almost immediately for Carolyn's idea, which also includes filming a TV ad that will express the company's new policy, while with an included appeal to customers. Carolyn is charged with going to Los Angeles to aid and shoot the new ad, which takes her out of town on Halloween. Richardson comes to the house to pick Carolyn up in the limousine, but before she leaves, Jack talks to her about all the changes the family has experienced in her absence. Carolyn still goes with Richardson. And again, it's kind of a sappy scene, which is kind of meant to be.
You know what? But they always have that scene where the female is shown as suddenly doing better in her job.
Yeah.
And then she gets this weird choice where she must go away and separate from the husband after he has gone through this unimaginable pressure and has come out even stronger because of it. And it's always where it's like this. And then it's the woman who has to give up her thing. Because even later we see where she's all like, oh, I quit immediately. Came home.
Yeah. But
That's not her. That was sexual assault in the company. You know, he should have been fired.
Right.
She would have been risen up, you know, kind of thing. Yep. I mean, no.
And that's what she said. She said, well, you don't want me to quit? Not try? Not succeed?
Yeah.
Like, where are you at with supporting me as the, the person? And Yeah, absolutely. And nowadays, then maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But in today's day, oh my God, you try something like that, she owns the company. A few nights later, while Carolyn is still out of town, some of the girls invite Jack out for the evening, leaving one of them, Annette, behind to sit with the kids. As a prank, the women take Jack to a male stripper bar. When he comes home late and Annette tagging along, he tries to call Carolyn in California. Unknown to him and to Carolyn, Richardson has snuck into Carolyn's hotel room with dinner and champagne and to celebrate their schooner tuna success. Richardson answers the phone and Jack recognizes his voice. Richardson abruptly hangs up on him. Carolyn confronts Richardson, who suggests she leave Jack. She refuses and orders him to leave, punching him in the face when he won't. At home, Jack becomes jealous and furious when the phone rings and throws it across the room. He also kicks the TV, shattering the screen. Wait. There's a scene that's out of this. When he goes back, yeah. Initially, when he takes all the kids to go in for the job review, and because they're in that's a scene in the bathroom,
yeah.
And the other two lied. But he's like, I don't need my job back. These two, they're lying to you. They're lying to cover. And then,
because he was trying to, it was something where they were like doing the products were wrong.
Yeah.
He was taking money out of the company.
Right. So basically, just lie about it. He's like, no, that's a lie.
Yeah.
And then they're at the, when Alex comes in, he yells at him and he's like, you ever yell at me, talk to my kid like that again, I'll punch him. I'll knock your lights out. And then they're in the bathroom and they're all, everywhere. That's just poignant because of this coming up at the end. So Annette witnesses to Jack's meltdown, leaves, and tells Joan the next day. Jack works through his anger by painting the house, while repairwoman Doris fixes the television, with one of Jack's shoes found in it. She's like, I think I found your problem.
Yeah.
And Bert, the exterminator, fumigates the basement. Joan takes Annette's message as a signal that Jack and Carolyn are through and over, and she races to his house to talk to him. She stretches out in the bed while Jack cleans up painting in the bathroom.
More like convincing himself.
Yeah, he goes
not to go in the bathroom.
He's like, C. I don't even want to think about C. So, but he did. He's like, at the end of it, he's like, you love your wife and your family. You wouldn't do any of this stuff anyways. Carolyn returns early from California after her confrontation with Richardson, finds Joan in her bed. When Jack comes out of the bathroom after a lengthy contemplation with himself about having an affair with Joan, he finds Carolyn, who is angry about finding Joan in her bed. The two argue, Jack telling Carolyn that he heard Richardson's voice on the phone when he called. Jack storms out of the room saying he has a house to run. Carolyn follows him, and the two begin to reconcile when both Jinx and Richardson arrive at the house, both wanting Jack and Carolyn to return to their jobs. At one point, Jinx yells at Alex, and Jack hits him in the face. He's, not now, kid. He's like, I warned you, Jinx.
Yeah.
Knocks him down. He's like, wow, one punch. Jack accepts his old job back on the condition that Larry and Stan join him. At the same time, just feet away, Carolyn tries to tell Richardson that she quit, and Richardson offers her a better working contract. The couple negotiate new employment deals for themselves and agree to return. The film ends here with Jack, Carolyn, and the children celebrating their good fortune and everyone watching the TV ad Carolyn helped create. Mr. Humphreys appears on the new television announcing Schooner Tuna's new low price, the tuna with a heart. And at that pretty much ends the movie. The music starts playing and it ends. So I guess the kids will go into daycare because
our babysitter or something.
Everybody's working. So Michael Keaton is funny to me. And I find that it's a movie that allows for him to do his comedy.
Did you watch Spider-Man Homecoming?
In Spanish, I watched 2/3 of it.
Oh, right.
But overall, your thoughts on the movie?
Well, I think we have.
I think
my
you've
thoughts
definitely
on the movie. Like I said, I mean, watching it, there are the humorous part. What's the difference between finding something funny and actually laughing at it?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with having so much going on lately, and sitting down and watching a movie you don't want to watch, having to sit there and really, actually, because again, I don't like movies in a general sense, don't like them.
Right.
If I have a choice, I'm not watching them. Because I pause things, I get distracted, I open other things, and, so I mean, this movie it's like, whatever, I found some of the parts, again, it's like funny, but I can't say this movie actually really made me laugh.
I understand.
Just like some movies, I'll be like, yeah, this is a scary movie. Did it jump scare me though? Like, did I get like, oh, But,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much.
Moves?
I don't know. How do you put that up on a scale,
Yeah.
What are we, on this movie, what are we judging? How good it was at stereotyping marriages with kids, I mean, how good it was, how good the acting was? I mean, acting was solid.
Yeah.
It was a humorous movie. I think the shows, the plots, whatever, fine. 3 out of 5. Would I watch this movie again? No.
I give it a solid 4. I'd watch it anytime it's on. I find the movie hilarious. I like the little story things. I like how it goes through. It gives me a chance to see Michael Keaton in different little aspects, and that's funny to me. So that's where I'm at with it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think having to looking deeper into it and it being something of saying, oh, this is how women are going to be treated and this and that and the other. When you start getting to that, it starts to detract.
I know. It's like, oh, just watch the movie and enjoy it. I understand.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that when your whole life you've been kind of trained into the sense that that's what you're supposed to be, and you're trying to pull away from norms and everything. You're trying to be your own person and go against that. And like watching movies like this, it makes me feel like I'm not. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's like, man, really? Like it's the same thing with like magazines. I don't like looking at magazines.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what people buy and want to see, and this is what they want.
Right.
I don't want to do this.
Right.
I don't want to like this. That's why I don't follow up with drama with celebrities, or that's why I don't really get into politics. The only time I really look into politics is to be educated on topics.
Yeah.
And to know how I feel about it, And to be able, if I'm going to have a conversation with somebody about it, I'm at least able to provide my point of view to a certain point, and there's my argument, quote unquote,
Yeah.
And like, I'm willing to hear every side of things. But this movies like this movie, honestly, it comes down to how I just feel about it. Like The Proposal. I like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I like The Proposal. It's a funny movie. I think that one is funny. Same concept. Almost the same concept. Almost the same thing. But I think that movie is funny.
Why is she so much better off? Because now she's got a man.
Yeah. Right.
Look,
but
she didn't know who she was until she found him.
I think it's just...
Good thing he was attractive.
Yep.
Because if he had not been attractive, that wouldn't happen.
Nope.
If he hadn't have been rich for a good weekend to go home to, wouldn't have happened. No. So,
nope.
That's always those kind of things.
So.
Cool. Yeah. I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that, but because we've already talked so much about stuff. But yeah, do you have favorite character?
I don't.
Favorite scene? None of that stuff?
Not really.
All right,
We watched
already
this last
expressed
week.
mine.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, and how I feel about the movie to begin with. I don't really...
I gotcha. So, some trivia then. Mm-hmm. Chevy Chase. You know who that is?
I don't know names.
Okay,
I'm so bad with names. You know how I know? Johnny Depp.
The movie, you remember the vacation movie?
Which one?
Well, it's called Vacation.
Oh, really?
National Lampoon's Vacation.
No, I don't know what that is then.
They go to Wally World.
Don't know what that is.
Okay. So Chevy Chase, Michael Douglas, Steve Martin, and John Travolta were considered for the role of Jack Butler. Just give you...
Don't know who any of those people are.
Yeah, they're
just names to me.
They're pretty big.
Cool.
Ron Richardson asked Jack, "Are you going to make it all 220?" Referring to the electrical wiring for his renovation, single versus double phase. Jack doesn't understand and responds 220, 221, whatever it takes, which is a really funny line, which gets repeated a lot between me and my friends and stuff like that. 220, 221, whatever it takes. It's just funny. It's funny. Jack is the only male shopper in the entire grocery store during that scene. Just funny. Robin Williams and John Goodman were considered for the role of Jack Butler.
Whenever I go to the store, like after work by myself, I call a friend. I have my AirPod, and I'm always really loud talking so that people stay away from me.
Fair.
So I don't get, because it's always after night. It's in the nighttime.
Yeah. And
it's usually right when they're about to close. So you have like random people in the parking lot that are just waiting to like grab you and such.
Yeah.
So I'll be on my car. And the other day I was coming out and I was talking about coconuts and how much I hate coconuts. And I was walking past these group of dudes and I was like, yeah, I think if you like coconut, you should just, be put on a planet where people hate you. And that planet's called Earth because I hate you and you like coconuts. And I was really weird. Like I kept going really into detail about the fact that I did not like coconuts. And these guys looked at me like, what the hell? Like, good, stay away from me.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
Nice.
Talking about coconuts over here, man.
I'm weird, man. Leave me alone.
I'm weird.
Burt Reynolds was considered for the role of Ron Richardson. The theme from Rocky is played when Jack decides to start cleaning up the house and himself. During the scene when Jack is talking to Kenny about giving up his whoopee, a Rocky 3 poster is on the bedroom wall. So, and that's also the conversation they have at the beginning. So it's a lot of references. Mm-hmm. One of 2 gender-bending comedies that Terry Garr, who played Carolyn, appeared in during the early 80s. The other was the movie Tootsie. And Tootsie's a good movie. It's where Dustin Hoffman, he's an actor, but nobody likes him. Like, nobody wants to work with this guy. So he dresses up in drag to get a part as a female on a soap opera. And he does. And then dressed as the female, he starts changing gender roles and expectations of what a female person is like doctors coming in to kiss him and stuff like that. And he's like, no. And he doesn't let the trashy nurses act trashy. He gives them he goes off script and goes off all these different things. But he's a man. So some people were like, so it takes a man to change what women are supposed to. It was like, but it's a good movie. But Terry Garr was in that too. So was Bill Murray. Ghostbusters, Bill Murray.
Yeah, I know Bill Murray. Do you know Bill Murray? But
yeah, so it's a weird topic, man. It's a good movie. I enjoy the movie. Again, things from it's a childhood. It was a good thing, and I enjoy it and everything like that. Before understanding all of that, things aren't problems until they start getting pointed out as problems, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a problem.
Right. Yeah, no. That's I'm not gonna be like, oh, you like this movie, you're sexist, Yeah.
Right. But it's just funny.
But for me and my age group, if then I was with a boy and we watched this movie and he was like, haha, yeah, this movie, it's funny because she's a woman, and I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna date you. That would be a red flag for me. Not that we would watch this movie. I don't like this movie. But I'm just saying, like, now in my age group, if you're at the point where you're still growing up and you don't know that yet, where you're not seeing this as a problem or that as an issue, because it's okay to think, like, this is a funny movie. There's stuff in it that's funny, you know?
Yeah.
But sitting there and being like, yeah, this is only solely funny because the swap and he doesn't know what he's doing and it's funny because, haha, he's a man and he's supposed to be in the cars and, haha, vroom, vroom. No. Get away from me.
No, that's
I'm gonna
fair.
spray you with water. Yay.
Alright. Good episode. What else you have?
I got nothing.
Nothing but button. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by, listening to our 61st episode. We definitely appreciate it more than you could imagine. And of course, the best way to say that you love us is to give us that 5-star review on iTunes. You can email us at the yesteryearpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at yesteryearpcast. Instagram is yesteryearpodcast. Facebook is facebook.com/yesteryearpodcast. We do have a private group, the Truffle Shufflers. Our secret question is the host names, James and Beth. You can check our website out, the yesteryearpodcast.com. We do have Patreon, patreon.com/the nostalgia group. Shout out to Greg Revan for doing our intro and outro music. And as always, we love you. Say goodnight, Beth.
Good night, everyone.